Just a Rinnegan? That's not enough. I want the Tenseigan too. Welcome back, brave explorers of impossible worlds. We are excited to have you here to continue this odyssey together. Before we continue, everything you'll hear is pure fiction, so please don't try to replicate combat techniques at home. This wonderful story in all its rights belong to its brilliant original author. We are only the messengers of entertainment. Want another dose of adventure? Subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss a single chapter, and if you can't wait, our Patreon has exclusive surprises you'll love. Chapter 151. Each pack contains 50 bottles of large cultivation experience potions, 30 golden divine skill fragments, 50 purple fragments, 100 blue fragments, triple cultivation experience cards x2, and 10 top-level divine weapon fragments. If the value is alone, it is definitely not worth 100,000 gold spirit coins. Fortunately, Yuanjie has money now, otherwise, he will definitely need to hesitate. Then, 12 sets of gift packs can be obtained in total. 600 bottles of large cultivation experience potion, 360 golden divine skill fragments, 600 purple fragments, and 1,200 blue fragments. This wave of Deo obtained a little bit, which caught Brother G off guard. He suddenly didn't know where to start first, think about it, or improve a wave of strength first. 600 bottles of large cultivation experience potion were concentrated into one bottle, and he suffocated it in one gulp. Comfortable, he felt that he was about to break through to the great evening realm, as if he was still a little close. He didn't expect that the spiritual power required to upgrade to the great evening realm of the 9th order of the fusion realm was actually 10 times the consumption of regular upgrades. He estimated that if he was now practicing immortal art normally, it would take 15 days to advance to the great evening realm at the earliest, taking the bonus of 3 times the cultivation experience card. This kind of cultivation speed is already very fast. Even faster than the F-grade physique. Even an anti-heavenly genius like Yuanjie was stuck at this stage for nearly a year before breaking through. How long has Yuanjie been? From awakening physique to the great evening realm, it only took 4 months. After all, out of the entire population of the 100 billion people of the Great Xia dynasty, only a few thousand people had reached it, and the proportion was quite exaggerated. Many cultivators could not reach that realm in their entire lives. Of course, Yuanjie naturally can't be compared with those ordinary people. After all, he has a systematic hanging wall, and it is reasonable for his cultivation speed to be a little faster, right? Yuanjie set his eyes on the divine skill fragments, and first spent 100 blue divine skill fragments to evolve the Phoenix Immortal Fire Art into the Dragon Fire technique. After upgrading to the Dragon Fire technique, the blue fragment consumed is increased to 5 points once. It's 50 full level again. Do you use 300 blue divine skill fragments to upgrade the Dragon Fire Art to fire extinguishing? The fire is extinguished. Madara alone faced the coalition forces and made this move, exerting a B-grade ninjutsu into play with the power of S-class ninjutsu. Fire extinguishing requires up to 20 fragments to upgrade to the first level, and the gold spirit coins required are also up to 10 at a time. Fortunately, Brother G is now a local tycoon, otherwise he really can't help but play like this. Unfortunately, the blue divine skill fragment is not enough to point the full level, plus the previous savings, it is only enough to point to level 33 at most. Then, Yuanjie synthesized a purple divine skill fragment for the first time, and only 50 pieces were needed to synthesize a self-selected A-level ninjutsu. He probably glanced at it: 1,000 birds, 5 element seals, Palm Immortal Arts, 1,000 birds, harem techniques, Nirvana essence house techniques, 5 layers Rashomon. There were 60 kinds in total. What surprised him the most was that there were actually spiral pills and multiple shadow avatar techniques in it. And Zionan's Divine Paper Master's Art and 8 Gates Dunjia technique are actually A-grade? It's bad, I always thought these ninjutsu were S-class. Yuanjie scratched his head. The level of ninjutsu is not related to power, but to the difficulty of casting. Since this is the case, Yuanjie chose to learn the art of multiple shadow avatars and the 2A level ninjutsu of spiral pill. Learn before you talk, and talk about it later. However, to his surprise, the multiple shadow doppelganger art actually did not have a button to strengthen the level. According to the skill data panel, releasing a shadow avatar costs 1,000 spiritual power points, and now, he has up to 100,000 spiritual power points, which is equivalent to about 30 cards, which means that he can release 100 shadow avatars at one time. Did he feel that the consumption of this shadow avatar was too great? If calculated according to this ratio, wouldn't a card haul put 3 shadow doppelgangers and be empty? How is this possible? This shadow avatar is weird, maybe an enhanced version, since the multiple shadow avatar technique could not be strengthened, then he used all the purple divine skill fragments on the upgrade spiral building. The spiral pill has reached the full level. Does it cost 50 purple divine skill fragments to evolve into a big jade spiral pill? The great jade spiral pill has reached the full level. Does it cost 100 purple divine skill fragments to evolve into the wind escape spiral shuriken? The wind escape spiral shuriken has reached the full level. Does it cost 300 purple divine skill fragments to evolve into a super large jade spiral pill? In the end, the super large jade spiral pill could not go any further, because the purple divine technique fragment was not enough. The purple divine skill fragment was used, and Yuanjie set his eyes on the golden divine skill fragment. This thing is particularly pitted, and the divine skill recruitment mall is full every day, but it is guaranteed to be 3. If there is no golden autumn gift pack, I don't know that the year of the monkey and the horse moon can be combined into a treasure chest. Yuanjie first used 100 sheets to synthesize 2 self-selected divine skill chests, and he chose Mu Dun without hesitation this time. Who wouldn't want to see the great Buddha Susatora? Now, with his own strength, it's time. Another self-selected divine skill chest, Yuanjie chose to learn Ratchet. As an exclusive skill of the 5/5 Kai card haul, although the damage is not as good as skills such as the Earth Explosion Sky Star, it is handsome enough. Strong or not strong is a matter of version, handsome is a matter of a lifetime. They are all divine power, how can there be no Ratchet? There are still 186 golden divine skill fragments left, and the last 100 Yuanjie choose to synthesize into a optional illusion chest. Since he still has 15 days to upgrade to the Big Night Realm, he wants to jam a wave of bugs, don't Heavenly God, forced to modify the will of the other party. Cooldown. 10 years. Each promotion to the Big Realm refreshes the skill cooldown. Yuanjie's ideal is to take control of Huangfu Gongyan, the leader of the family alliance, and become his subordinate. Because after his investigation, the Huangfu family was extremely united. And the weight of the Huangfu Gongyan's words was particularly large. In this way, as long as the Huangfu Palace cloud can be controlled, it almost means that the family alliance and the Huangfu family are controlled at the same time. The main thing is that he has no better control object nowadays. Although Shaoxin Yu Mengan is a master, she is currently not hostile to herself, and it is useless to control her. Is it possible to make her willing to be her lover? Emperor Xiang Maofeng is even more unnecessary. He is a dying person, why waste other heavenly gods on him? In addition to the fact that Huangfu Gongyan was somewhat useful, Yuanjie did not think of a better candidate for the time being. After learning the 3 super ninjutsu, Yuanjie opened his eyes abruptly, and if anyone cares, he can find that today's Yuanjie, the kaleidoscope pattern of his right eye has another petal. The petals represent the mastery of illusion skills. Chapter 152. Yuanjie calmed his excitement and moved his attention to the gifts that bought 10 or 12 sets. Rare costume, sus a new appearance can be modified, reducing spiritual power consumption when used. Super divine weapon optional gift box, 10 fist sword, 8 mirrors, Uchiha fan, Indra no Yao. Wait a minute, besides the Uchiha Danfan, are there 3 other weapons that can only be used in Susanu form? Yuanjie asked about the dog system that counted money on the side. The system said impatiently, can you please read the manual? Yuanjie, Laozi charged money, you still have such a big temper, damn it. Look at the people Celia, if you don't charge your money, people will greet you cordially. Today is another day full of hope. Yuanjie ignored this small well fan and clicked on the weapon panel to check. Can you actually hold an entity? I'm blanching, that's awesome. Yuanjie rubbed his hands, he chose Indra's arrow, this super divine weapon. Without him, because he thinks the bow and arrow are more handsome. Finally, in the system backpack, he clicked on the attribute of the supreme title of Chosen Man, Chosen One, increases one's spiritual power by 1.5 times when worn, plus 20 in strength, ki, root bone, and body technique. I blanch. That's a great title. Can it actually increase spiritual power so outrageously? He is now 100,000 spiritual power points, and after wearing it, he has 50,000 more spiritual power points, which is a few more steps of cultivation for no reason. Moreover, As his cultivation level increases, his spiritual power will only increase. Outrageous. It's outrageous. It really deserves the title of Supreme. Now, even if he didn't advance to the Great Evening Realm, he had the confidence to wrench his wrist with a high-ranking god. After Yuanjie finished all this in the system space, he raised his head and looked around in confusion. Because he was in class just now, he pretended to sleep on his desk. "Brother, I find that you seem to be more handsome." Xiaonan leaned over his face and whispered. Xiaonan's words immediately attracted the attention of Li Tiansha next to her, and she also looked at Yuanjie curiously. Suddenly, the heart stirred, the heart beat faster, and it was slightly moist. But she didn't dare to say that she was a little shy now. Brother Ji picked up the mirror and looked at it beautifully. "No, haven't I always been so handsome?" Xiaonan shook his head. "No, it should be that the temperament has changed." "Oh? How does it change? What does it become?" "It's just, that's what do you say, more masculine, even fairy." "Good fellow, is all the fairy key out? Isn't that the spirit of the king? It seems that it must be a special bonus brought by that supreme title." After class, Yuanjie walked all the way to the toilet and found that everyone's eyes had changed when they looked at him, as if to eat him. Yuanjie was annoyed. It turned out that this was the trouble of being too handsome. After returning to the classroom, he carefully planned what he would do before the retreat. First thing, go to Huangfu's house for dinner, and by the way, don't let the gods control Huangfu Palace Cloud. The second thing, find the author of the novel he has been chasing, and he will carry a knife to personally urge the change. Damn it. Yuanjie recently found that the goods began to rot. Originally, under the offensive of his own sugar-coated shells, he changed 3 times a day. It didn't take long to turn out, good guys, just 1 more a day. This is still a fart. He is not distressed about the gift money, but really wants to have a good chat with the author about the spring blossoms. Li Wenyu, you want to find the address of this author called Play Bend Late. Yuanjie's mind sneaked into the Shinwei space and arranged work for the big brother of the Ajuradeo. Li Wenyu was originally a scientific and technological talent, and this kind of small hacker's technology could not bother him at all. Soon, the address of the author of Late Ending was sent to Yuanjie's mobile phone. The corners of Yuanjie's mouth curved. After class, he changed into a tiger mask, changed his clothes and walked out of the school leisurely. It turns out that he is also in Jingcheng. What a pea droppings. Yuanjie was very fast, so he came to an old-fashioned community, and he flew directly and landed on the balcony of his house. It's late to play. Are you there? Eileen on, a little bespectacled beauty with shaggy hair was shocked. She saw a person suddenly break into her home, frightened her to quickly pick up a broom to defend herself. You, who are you? Yuanjie took off the tiger skin mask, and the little beauty with glasses was stunned, but I didn't expect to be a big handsome guy. I'm your book friend. Have you forgotten the 999 Great God certifications I brushed for you? It turned out to be the big brother of the list. The little beauty with the glasses quickly covered the mess on the bed with a quilt, patted the side of the bed, and motioned for him to sit down. Big brother, don't worry, I'll pour you a glass of water. No thanks. The little beauty with the glasses didn't care about him, and went out to the living room to take a disposable water cup and pour a glass of water for Yuanjie. Big brother, please. Yuanjie took a sip meaningfully, and then looked at it. I didn't expect you to be a woman. So why is the car so fast in the book? Luo Yanning, is there anyone watching if you don't get in the car? She sighed faintly. Yuanjie was stunned. It seemed to be too. He looked around her living environment, presumably rented, living alone for a long time. Let me ask you a question, why are you rotting that book? Isn't it well written? The corner of Luo Yanning's mouth tugged. Big brother, I'm just a little on the street. There are not many people who read that book, and I don't earn as much as the gift money you give every day. Why? Because the previous writing was very depressing, it dissuaded many readers, and then the system stopped pushing, and the traffic became less and less. Yuanjie. So you chose to rot? What about the promised daily 10,000 words? Luo Yanning replied seriously, Big brother, it's not a secret. Those who write books here basically eat the first wave of dividends, and then the data will generally get worse and worse, and there are only 2 choices left. The first is to write a new book, and the second is to run directly into the palace. I'm at least still updating, which is pretty good. Yuanjie suddenly realized, no wonder he saw so many eunuchs, so it was. It's all for life, and it's not convenient for him to blame anything. He secretly dropped a space ring, and the money in it should be enough for her to live for a long time. Don't stay in front of the computer all day, your eyesight will get worse and worse. Also, dress up a little. I'm worried that you won't be able to get married. After leaving these 2 words, Yuanjie turned into a golden flash and left Luo Yanning's room. She was left alone in a silent daze. I am? Prompted by reality? Suddenly she felt so happy, at least, someone was still reading her book, even if it was only one person. She wiped the tears from the corners of her eyes and returned to the fight. Yuanjie returned to the desolate ancient academy and called Huangfu Gaogayan as soon as possible. Ouch, brother Yuanjie, the old body is finally looking forward to your call. Yuanjie smiled and said, you are normal. I still like your previous unruly appearance. You recover, Huangfu Gaogayan. Then he smiled and said, brother Yuanjie, you can really joke. By the way, let me inform, I will go to your house for dinner tonight and prepare the wine and dishes. Chapter 153. Yuanjie went out after school, and he didn't take anyone with him. As soon as he left the school, he saw the luxury car of the Huangfu family, and he sat on it without politeness. When they arrived at the door of Huangfu's house, Huangfu Gaogayan and the family elders stood respectfully at the door. Brother Yuanjie, the old man wants to kill you. Huangfu Gaogayan was extremely enthusiastic, and Brother Ji felt that he had to slowly get used to it. This feeling of being held in the palm of your hand and licked is strange. Yuanjie just nodded faintly, and everyone in the Huangfu family was not unhappy. The family banquet has long been prepared, and everyone is waiting for Yuanjie to come over. Huangfu Gaogayan welcomed Yuanjie to the throne, but he refused. He just came to be a guest. There is no need to make a noise. Brother Ji is a civilized person. Therefore, Yuanjie was arranged to sit next to Huangfu Gaogayan, which can be said to give enough face. However, he found that there was still an empty seat next to him, and he secretly slandered him, bigger than me. When the Huangfu family banquet lasted 10 minutes, the guests were happy. The wine of this world is a little light, the highest number is the level of beer, the taste is biased towards fruit wine, and there is a strong aroma. It was like drinking raw perfume that had not been mixed, and Yuanjie didn't like it very much. Seeing this, Huangfu Gaogayan stopped persuading wine, and he secretly arranged for someone to replace wine with tea. Good tea. Yuanjie took a sip and nodded in praise. Huangfu Gaogayan smiled, brother Yuanjie, if you like to drink it. So, he raised his cup again and saluted Yuanjie. Brother Yuanjie, in the past, I had no eyes, we had some festivals, and I hope that the little brother will not remember the villain. Yuanjie raised his eyebrows. Festival? Did we have a holiday? Hearing this, how can Huangfu Gaogayan not understand? He laughed heartily. Good. Then our Huangfu family will be the same as the little brother forever in the future, and its profits will be broken. The word eternal not is not suitable, you used the wrong word. Huangfu Gaogayan deliberately said this. In fact, he was careful to think. He deliberately took a group of old guys away at tonight's family banquet and arranged for the young, beautiful and extremely talented women in the family. If Yuanjie has a fancy, it is the best. If not, it should be eye-catching. Yuanjie thought to himself, I can't even look at the head god, will I still look at your group of rouge fans? At this time, a man with thick eyebrows walked in outside the door, and it could be seen from the clothes on his body that he was either rich or expensive. Huangfu Gaogayan immediately got up and introduced to Yuanjie, brother Yuanjie, this is the loyal king of Yunhei city. Yuanjie nodded lightly, without much expression, and continued to eat the dishes. He was not interested in understanding why the Huangfu family would take the initiative to connect with a Wang Yi for him. Yuanjie's self-care of eating vegetables made the loyal king suddenly embarrassed. The faithful king sat in his position beside him and began to boast about the great feats of the Zio organization, and to be honest, made Brother Ji blush. Thousands of generations pass down the good name, and the centuries shine on the rivers and mountains. Brother Yuanjie, I think there must be a page in the history books that belongs to your organization. Yuanjie said nonchalantly, I don't think I just did what others dare not do. It's not great. The loyal king waved his hand and said disapprovingly, no, as long as you know the organization and support this king to ascend the throne, it is a great achievement. When the time comes, don't say a page, even if you give you a column. Oh, as soon as Yuanjie raised his eyebrows, he knew how Wang Yi would have a relationship with him for no reason and pull gangs. It must be the strong strength of Zio, and the current strength of Xiang Mao Fang is strong, and they alone can't deal with it. Yuanjie smiled directly and unceremoniously. Don't be so affectionate first. I didn't promise to help you do things. The loyal king was stunned. He threw down the conditions and benefits. Why didn't he agree? Yuanjie is not interested in empty promises. Moreover, he has the ability and strength to take the position himself. Why should he assist others? Since ancient times, have there been fewer emperors who killed rabbits and dogs cooked, birds bowed and hidden, and crossed rivers and demolished barrages? Yuanjie, who is a master of Chinese language in his previous life, will not let the tragedy play out on him. As he spoke, the faithful king lost patience. Seeing this, Yuanjie mocked, "Be faithful and faithful, Wang Yezhu is really interesting. Who would have thought that the dignified and faithful king would actually be the first prince to rebel?" The loyal king did not blush, took a sip of wine lightly, and then dropped the wine glass on the ground. Even a dog can see that he is angry. Wang Yi, such a violent heart can't be a big deal. Yuanjie mended the knife again. The loyal king pointed at him with a cold face and said, "Yuanjie, don't give a face. When did you give me a face? Your tone of voice from beginning to end is high-spirited, and I am not as arrogant as you when I speak with a low-ranking god." Huangfu Gaogayan saw that the two were arguing, and quickly arranged for the people in the clan to retreat, and he stepped forward to be a peacemaker, persuading the two to drink too much and talk less. He was very worried that Yuanjie would blame the Huangfu family for this, because originally the family banquet was prepared by them, and the sudden visit of the loyal king would inevitably not be thought that it was arranged by your Huangfu family. He said he was wronged. "I really don't know, presumably which elder made his own claims and secretly let people in." "Huangfu, you shut up, King Ben." "Huangfu Gonggayan, it's none of your business here," Zhongxin Wang and Yuanjie said almost in unison. Seeing this, Huangfu Gonggayan took 2 steps back very sensibly. Then, the loyal king looked at Yuanjie with fierce eyes. Since the Xiao organization could not be used by him, then he could not stay. "Lest you get it, and then jump out and disgust yourself after you ascend the throne." The intelligence of the royal family is still lagging behind. They have never heard of the top powerhouse above the big knight in the Xiao organization. Otherwise, they would not dare to provoke Yuanjie by giving him 10 bear biles. "Yuanjie, listen up. Now give you 2 paths. One, surrender to me, and the second is to perish." Yuanjie pretended to be afraid and patted his chest and said, "Wow, today's noodles are so spicy and spicy. Why are you scary with purple sauce?" The loyal king held his stomach and scolded, "You try the yin and yang weird key again? Don't blame me for being cruel. Besides, I am also a noble king. What is your identity? Believe it or not, I'll go to Jianghe right away and gouge your parents' graves." Yuanjie smiled. "Back to the north? You are really talking motorcycles. What are you?" The loyal king couldn't help it, and immediately raised his hand and wanted to stab it with a sword, but was pulled by Huangfu Gaogayan. If he really let him move, he didn't know if he was loyal to the royal mansion. Anyway, the Huangfu family was almost the same. Yuanjie turned over and lifted the other party up. King Hongxin's guards immediately drew their swords, only to be shocked out by Shinra Xianzhen. "You man, how should I evaluate you? Really, stupid to be incorrigible. I'm not even afraid of the emperor. Who gave you the courage? Let your little Wang Yi dare to threaten me. Very good, you successfully provoked me. Yunhei City, right? I'm going to destroy your house." Chapter 154. Yuanjie feels that he has no IQ to say more to this kind of person. Why do a few inexplicable villains pop up inexplicably to disgust people? Yuanjie really can't understand. Is this Wang Yu think that he is very strong and can take him casually? Strong? Kaiyang has long supported the army and rebelled, and he still needs to win over Xiao? Yuanjie felt that there must be a strategist behind the loyal king who was instigating him to do this. It is strange that the loyal king said that the emperor was anxious and lost his mind. Even if he thought about it with his brain, the result would be different. "You? What the hell do you want to do?" The loyal king himself has the strength of the great evening realm, but at this moment, he can't move, and he starts to panic. "What for?" "Take you to see one of the most beautiful fireworks." Yuanjie picked him up and flew out of Huangfu's house. Huangfu Gaogayan wiped the cold sweat on his forehead. He obviously felt just now that Yuanjie's cultivation was high again. Doesn't it mean that the progress of a good SSS-level physique cultivation is very slow? How this forces escalation to be as fast as a plane. Yuanjie directly opened Susanoo in midair, spread his huge wings and flew out of Jingcheng. Yunhei City is not far from Jingcheng, about 1,000 kilometers away, and it takes 20 minutes to fly. This is your loyal palace, right? Yuanjie was condescending, and from a distance he saw big loyalty written on the gate. It is said that this word loyalty is still inscribed by the saint himself, and when you look at it now, it is extremely ironic. The loyal king finally understood the true combat power of Yuanjie, and he had already cordially greeted the whole family who came up with the idea 10,000 times in his heart. Say that the Akatsuki Organization only has 5 guts, and the strength is not strong? What about the Akatsuki Organization greedy for money and eager for quick results? Say that the combat power of Yuanjie in the Akatsuki Organization is the lowest? He was pitted miserably. At this time, it was late at night, the lights of 10,000 homes were suddenly bright, and in the sky of Yuanjie City, there was a glowing blue giant flying, which immediately attracted great attention. What is it? So big? A master has come to our Yuanjie City, I don't know, what is he here for? People walked out of their homes and looked up and pointed at the blue giant. At this time, the armed forces of Yuanjie City flew over. When they approached, they couldn't help but gasp. So big? Why is it so big? They were stunned, thinking about quickly turning around and running, and leaving without incident. Earn those few gold spirit coins every month, so you won't contribute your precious life for this little money, right? The loyal king kept shouting for help in the air, but because he flew too high, the people on the ground could not really hear. He crushed the jade card with one hand, which immediately attracted the attention of the experts of the loyal royal mansion. Bad. Wang Yi is in danger, hurry up and find the signal source. No, the map shows that it's here, so, someone raised his head and saw a huge blue giant foot stepping down. Before he could call for help, it turned into a puddle of mashed meat. Do you want to watch the fireworks or the explosion? Yuanjie said with a smile. Me, can I not look? Strong man, let me down. Whatever you want the king will promise you. Yuanjie raised his eyebrows. No, weren't you threatening me just now? What else to say? I will gouge my ancestral grave. The blue giant gradually approached this Hongsen royal mansion step by step. He kicked the gate of the palace to pieces. Suddenly, 5 great evening realm masters appeared in the palace. Only 5? I thought it was awesome. Susanoo can slash with a sword, and the 5 great evening realm masters are directly wiped out. Nope, the loyal king has red eyes. This is his whole card for rebellion. This is nothing? I already knew, and I made a fart anti. The thing he regretted the most in his life was to go to the Huangfu family to participate in the family banquet. If he hadn't provoked Yuanjie tonight, maybe. Even now, the faithful king still dreams of spring and autumn. Forget it, then let me try the count knife. Genji turned off Susanoo and turned on the 6 modes and immortal arts, transforming into an elegant white-haired boy. With a snap, he clasped his hands together and his eyes opened suddenly. Immortal Lam Yudun drew thousands of hands. At this time, suddenly the earth rumbled, and the entire Yuanjie city fell into panic. From the ground rises a wooden Buddha statue that is 800 meters high. The Buddha statue sits with his legs crossed, his eyes folded and his eyes closed. Some masters calculated that the actual height of thousands of hands is 631.3 meters, and I exaggerated it here. The most striking thing is the backlight of the Buddha statue, which actually has countless wooden hands in circles. What the hell is this? Buddha statue. Oh my god, it's actually a Buddha statue. What a big Buddha statue. The gods and Buddhas have come to the world again. Do they want to rectify the darkness of the world? A huge wooden Buddha statue towering into the clouds stunned the citizens of Yuanjie City. Even if you raise your head, you can't see it completely. Huangfu Gaogayan followed all the way just now, and after he saw this move, he was silent. This is the power of the true God. Compared to him, we are just the light of rice. What is the Dharma heaven and earth? In front of the scene of Brother G, it's a fart. The loyal king turned pale and opened his mouth, but he could not make a sound. And how did the faithful royal palace in front of the Buddha statue fall into a huge panic? Inexplicably, a behemoth appeared against his own home, and he had to be afraid of anyone who put it. I saw that the wooden Buddha statue was still closing its eyes, and it stretched out its right hand, turned into a fist with a palm, and swung towards the loyal royal mansion. And at this time, the manual behind the wooden Buddha statue is over. They followed the movements of the Buddha statue, and one by one, their huge fists hammered down towards the loyal royal mansion covering an area of 2,000 acres. Boom! The destructive power of each wooden Buddha hand is very amazing. directly smashing the ground into a deep pit of tens of meters. So, what about 1,000 wooden Buddha hands? A steady stream of wooden Buddha hands lengthened, and punch after punch slammed into this Honksen royal mansion, causing a violent explosion. Such a big movement instantly attracted the attention of the city lord mansion of Yuanjie City. Countless masters soared into the air and enjoyed the performance of thousands of hands. They were speechless at this time. They didn't dare to approach at all, and they would die if they approached. The wooden Buddha statue kept moving forward, and its fist did not stop. 5 minutes later, the Honksen royal mansion successfully turned into a huge ruin, with countless deaths and injuries. Many people were directly smashed into meat mud by wooden Buddha hands, and there was no possibility of survival. The entire Honksen royal mansion, in the end, only one person remained. The faithful king sat on the ground, unfocused. Nothing, all gone, a good home, just because of their own impulse, ruined. He cried, but couldn't cry. In the end, you can only apologize with death. Pull out the knife and kill yourself. A generation of Prince Xiangxi fell. The wooden Buddha dives underground again as if nothing had happened. Yuanjie flew to Huangfu Gongyan, patted the other party's shoulder, and snorted. How about this trick? Handsome or not? Would you like to watch it again? Chapter 155. The corner of Huangfu Gongyan's eyes twitched several times, and he held out a word for a long time. Handsome. After Yuanjie turned around, he wiped the cold sweat on his forehead. I can't help but think that if this wooden Buddha statue is placed against the Huangfu family, you can contact the coffin shop outside the city in advance to order. He didn't dare to imagine that scene. Thinking that Yuanjie possessed multiple large-scale explosive damage skills, even the powerhouses of the Great Evening Realm, most of them did not have such amazing destructive power. This is still a physical royal system, and the French royal department next door is not as exaggerated as him. Fortunately, now the Huangfu family and Yuanjie can be regarded as turning the war into a jade, and the past grudges have been ridden off. But Huangfu Gongyan still had a sense of foreboding in his heart. Yuanjie has never been a good person to talk to. Why did he let it go this time? Suddenly, Yuanjie turned his head and changed his expression and said, "Look at me." The uneasiness in Huangfu Gongyan's heart became heavier and heavier, causing him to subconsciously avoid Yuanjie's eyes. I said, "Look at me." His head was caught off guard by Yuanjie, and when he looked directly at the scarlet right eye, his face instantly froze. Huangfu Gongyan was dazed, but he was stabbed in the eye by a strong light. Here it is, he felt like he was in a strange world, and on the horizon, there was a huge sun levitating. And under the sun, there is a figure standing, it is Yuanjie. Here, I can dominate everything, including your will, Yuanjie's voice echoed in this strange space. Huangfu Gongyan stood in this world, feeling very small and helpless. But he couldn't move, and the hot sun was constantly eating away at his brain. Finally, the sunlight fades, the environment becomes dark, and the whole world is shrouded in a dark black and red cloud. This is the pattern of Yuanjie's right eye? Huangfu Gongyan's eyes widened. Regarding the skill display screen of other heavenly gods, there are currently 3 forms, which are the ultimate storm and the ordinary water stop move in Motao village, then the big move to stop the water in the new year of Motao village, and finally the big move of the other heavenly god in the special effects village next door. I synthesized all versions. Huangfu Gongyan spent seconds in the space of other heavenly gods, but in fact, it was only a moment outside. His eyes opened again, and the pattern of Yuanjie's kaleidoscope appeared in his pupils. Yuanjie patted him on the shoulder and turned to leave. Huangfu Gongyan followed respectfully. Although it is said that ordinary illusion can also manipulate people's will, the flaws are obvious, and the manipulated person behaves like a puppet. It is not the same as the gods, the people who are controlled are still the same as always, but in some subjective things, betrayal is eliminated from the root, and no one can find the clue. After Yuanjie and Huangfu Gongyan went out, they continued to return to Huangfu's house for good food and drink, and did not leave until 11 o'clock in the evening. Brother Yuanjie, I often come to play when I have time, Huangfu Gongyan laughed. Yuanjie waved his hand, signaled not to send it, and left the Huangfu house with a frivolous step. Master, just let him go? Now poof, unexpectedly, Huangfu Gongyan stabbed into the speaker's heart. And when he pulled out his dagger, he brought a burst of blood. I say it one last time, Yuanjie will always be my eldest brother. Who dares to have other ideas about him? Make a decision. Do you hear me clearly? After Yuanjie returned to the desolate ancient academy, at this time, the human Dao that was good at spying intelligence emerged from the surface. Lord Heavenly Dao, Prince Ning contacted the people of the Flying Eagle country tonight, intending to rebel. You actually want to collude with foreign rebellion? Kind of interesting. Yuanjie pondered for a while and said, you arranged for the Tian God, the Wind God, and the Moon Dance God to bulldoze Prince Ning's mansion. Since you joined the Akatsuki Organization, you have to do something. Don't stand by and watch. By the way, I'll arrange a new mission for you. The human Dao took Yuanjie's words to heart, and soon left again. When Yuanjie returned to the villa, there was no Zionan in the room, and she consciously went back to her room to sleep. Zionan slept early, while Li Tiansha sat in the living room, bored while watching TV while waiting for Yuanjie to come back. Waiting and waiting, exhaustion and sleepiness crushed her. After Yuanjie pushed open the door, he found that the light in the living room was still on, and Li Tiansha was sitting on the sofa and fell asleep with his head tilted, still holding the remote control in his hand. He walked over and was about to carry her back to the room when Li Tiansha woke up. The distance between the two was close, and she stared at him with big blinking eyes. I saw you asleep and wanted to carry you back to your room. Yuanjie touched his head awkwardly. Li Tiansha did not resist, but instead buried his head in his chest and continued to sleep with his eyes closed. It was just that her fingers were brought together, betraying her nervousness at this time. Yuanjie put her on the bed, helped her cover the quilt and prepared to leave. Can you talk to me? Li Tiansha's little hand tugged at the corner of his clothes. Yuanjie was stunned, and his steps stopped. He sat on the edge of the bed and turned to look at her. A lot has happened recently, but I want to say that I hope you will not be so tired in the future. Yuanjie nodded, which was considered a promise to her. Li Tiansha continued, in the past, I always felt that I was dragging oil bottles, so I have been working hard all the time. Even if I know that I have no talent, I want to catch up with you. However, now it seems that it is a bit delusional. Yuanjie grabbed her hand and said seriously, you are the person I want to protect. You just need to stand behind me. Li Tiansha's gaze flickered, and she asked him in a low voice, you said you like me. Is it true, really? Pearls are not so real. I've liked you for 10 years. Li Tiansha burst out laughing. We haven't known each other for 10 years. It's only been 7 or 8 years. Yuanjie did not answer. He said silently in his heart, 10 years is a matter of the previous life. Okay, I'm going to sleep. Li Tiansha covered his head with a quilt. Yuanjie shook lightly and asked her anxiously, shallow, what about you? Me what? Do you have feelings for me? Just tell me if it's just a little. Li Tiansha blushed as he buried in the quilt, not knowing whether he was breathing well or shy. Seeing that she didn't answer, Yuanjie had to turn around and close the door. Hearing the sound of the door closing, Li Tiansha pulled off the quilt and stroked the position where he had just sat and felt the residual temperature. You're so good, I don't dare like you. The gap between family lineage and age is not a problem, but the physique of the two is a gap that cannot be crossed. She and Liv have similar ideas, both feel that they are not worthy of him, and are afraid that the future will drag him down. But their approach is different. One is to boldly express their hearts, and the other can only bury what they like secretly in their hearts. However, Li Tiansha suddenly thought that if he kept hanging him, what should he do if he felt hopeless and ran to be with other girls? Otherwise, the future will be left to the future, although my strength is weak, but even if you gamble on everything, you must protect his safety. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 156. The next day, Yuanjie planned to use the triple experience card to cultivate. He explained the follow-up to the human Dao, and after placing the Flying Thunder God mark on the people he cared about, he ran to a place in the desolate ancient academy to sit cross-legged. 15 days, fast and fast, slow and slow. On the third day of Yuanjie's cultivation, the human Dao came over to report, Lord Heavenly Dao, Prince Ning's mansion was dealt with by the Wind God and the Moon Dance God. The Tian God didn't go. Yuanjie closed his eyes, and he asked lightly. The Tian God began to close the Death Gate and attack the Seventh Order of the Great Evening Realm as early as a week ago. Got it, you disperse. On the fourth day of cultivation, The national government issued a wanted order again, wanted Yuanjie, Yuanjie and others, and increased the bounty several times. As soon as this wanted order was issued, it immediately attracted the attention of the vast number of experts. Under the heavy reward, there will be a brave man. Some people even tore up the wanted warrant and personally went to the national government to sign a military warrant, and they must be arrested. They waited at the gate of the desolate ancient academy for several days, but they did not see Yuanjie and the others. So, they had other students with bad ideas. They kidnapped a few classmates from the desolate ancient academy and named Yuanjie to come alone. Sima Zhao's heart is known to everyone. However, it is a pity that Yuanjie is focusing on cultivation at this time and does not know about this. Even if he knew, he wouldn't have made a move. Classmates who can't hit the pole in 8 lifetimes, how can Brother G make a move? He was not so free to protect everyone in the academy, and he did not have this obligation, which was originally the responsibility of the desolate ancient academy. Soon, Li Qing of the desolate ancient academy personally came out and wore a black robe of Xiangayan to teach the group of ill-intentioned people a lesson, but he didn't kill them on the spot, and in the end, he secretly cut the grass and removed the roots in the world. On the 5th day of cultivation, a big event happened in Jingcheng. The head of the Huangfu family, Huangfu Gonggayan, actually personally led the family masters to conquer one of the small families. The reason was that the small family insulted Yuanjie and Zhao Organization in the alliance meeting. Huangfu Gonggayan's successes made many people stunned. Even the Wang family and the Yu family are stupid. The two of them have had close cooperation with the Zhao Organization, but what about the Huangfu family? No, don't look it like that, right? All the masters speculated, what was going on? Could it be that Yuanjie gave Huangfu Gonggayan a big benefit that he couldn't refuse? There are many opinions, and in the end, there is no definitive statement. However, some people within the Huangfu family and the family began to have super big differences about the decision-making of the Huangfu Palace Cloud. The Saga Alliance has successively withdrawn small families, and the 3 major families have not retained. They will not do anything on the surface, they will only say a good gathering and disperse. But behind the scenes, it is not certain. The 3 major families secretly took action, and began to sanction the small families who withdrew from the alliance from the economic aspect. When they saw that the end of those small families was so tragic, the remaining families were silent one by one, and did not dare to mention the matter of withdrawing from the alliance. There was gradually another voice within the Huangfu family. Huangfu Gong Yunren didn't say much, he cleanly expelled the family with opinions from the family, and sent experts to assassinate. The reason why he is fearless is because the 3 most powerful high-ranking gods in the family are all of his line and absolutely obey his rule. On the 10th day of Yuanjie's cultivation, the armed forces of the national government set out to surround the 2 major academies of the 6th Dao of Desolation, and even an afterimage could not fly out. The royal family formally arrested the initiator, Yuanjie, on charges of deliberately murdering the prince by the Zhao Organization. About 30 million soldiers surrounded the academy area, and even summoned many generals who were far away. Li Qingquan confronted the Flying Tiger general and said, "Flying Tiger, are you sure you want to tear your face?" The Flying Tiger general looked embarrassed, and he didn't want to, but as a courtier, he had no way not to obey His Majesty's orders. Seeing his face, Li Qing understood everything in his heart. "Flying Tiger, we should be old comrades in arms, right?" Li Qing's words evoked the memories of the Flying Tiger general, and he sneered, "Indeed, I still remember that 300 years ago, you saved my life. So, I didn't expect that we would meet one day, Din Li Qing. I didn't come here to talk to you, I was ordered by His Majesty to arrest the culprit Yuanjie, and I asked for your cooperation." Li Qing sighed faintly, then raised his head and looked firmly at the Flying Tiger general. "So what if I'm not willing to hand it over, then offend?" The strength of the Flying Tiger general is not weak, and his cultivation has reached the current top of this world. He is also a high-ranking god, ranking 4th. And Li Qing ranked 3rd. The strength levels of the two are not much apart. The Flying Tiger general shouted loudly and rushed forward with a tiger-back knife. His awakened physique is the SS level of the physique lineage, and he joined the army at a very young age and became the most outstanding general of the great Xiong dynasty. Not only is he powerful in leading troops to fight, but his strength is also killed from the Corpse Mountain and the Sea of Blood. The Flying Tiger general is good at using knives. The weapon in his hand weighs 300 pounds, but he plays a tiger. Seeing this, Li Qing took out a black cloth to cover his eyes and turned on the power of the divine dragon. I saw that his entire body was twice as tall, and between his fists and feet, there was even a faint thunder dragon flickering. Tiger descending the mountain, the flying tiger great general jumped up, and Fa Xiang Xiandi made the same move as the Buddha figure, slashing down towards Li Qing. Li Qing listened carefully to the opponent's heartbeat, and his right fist emitted a dazzling blue light, blocking this fierce attack. Actually took this knife with one hand? So strong. It's the first time I've seen someone so powerful in the flesh. Worthy of being a Azure god. The first wave of attack between the two even collided with a huge energy, producing a violent explosion. The explosion destroyed the avenue in front of the ancient academy, and some masters were affected and seriously injured. After Li Qing blocked the killing move of the flying tiger general, he slammed the floor. Heavenly thunder break. Unexpectedly, it triggered the heavenly thunder to descend, slashing at the other party and himself. Seeing this, the flying tiger general slashed his knife into the sky, and the heavenly thunder dissipated, but the rubble that was shot up on the surface still caused him great damage. The flying tiger general retreated a few steps. His eyes were horrified. He didn't expect that after several months, Li Qing's skill actually rose again. He was not convinced, and slashed towards Li Qing with a knife. Li Qing opened the golden bell hood in an instant, and a green light appeared on his body, and a green dragon fatally appeared. The big knife can't even break a crack in the golden bell hood. It's too exaggerated, right? Not only Li Qing and the flying tiger general are fighting, but their Dharma heaven and earth are also fighting. One dragon and one tiger, in the air have exerted their full strength. Dragons soar and tigers leap. Dragons fight tigers. However, Thunder Dragon Fa Xiang Xiandi took advantage of his ability to fly, dodged the attacks of the white tiger, flew into the air from time to time, and tied the white tiger with his huge tail. On the other side, every slash of the flying tiger general was blocked by Li Qingguang's right fist. So strong. There are no weapons to fight, and those who have weapons will fight back and forth. Dean Li Qing's physical body is also too strong, right? The flying tiger general cut so many knives, but he didn't cause any wounds. No, didn't you notice that Li Qing was blindfolded? What kind of strength will he have when he opens his eyes? Chapter 157. Flying Tiger, stop. You can't beat me. The king's life is difficult to violate. As a courtier, he should share the worries of the emperor. When Li Qing heard this, he slammed a punch at the other party. Where the fist went past, it even rubbed out a special crack. The flying tiger general hurriedly put the tiger-back knife across his chest, and he could block this move, but his wrist was numb, and the blade hit his chest, making him vomit a mouthful of blood. Blood stained the tiger's back knife, and the whole knife glowed a dazzling red. Transparent as amber. The flying tiger general exuded a strong sword intent, and even cut the muscles on Li Qing's body with blood marks. Dean Li Qing, the Tao is different. You yearn for free youth, and I am a flying tiger, dedicated to serving the country. However, you love this land. Why fight hard for the Xuang's royal family? Li Qing's words shocked the flying tiger general's tiger body, and he looked at the other party in shock. He didn't expect Li Qing to actually say such words. The land of Daxia has remained unchanged for eternity, but the imperial dynasty has undergone 1,000 generations of changes. In fact, you also know that today's majesty is not a good prince who conspires with each other, forgets his righteousness, and ignores the people's suffering. The flying tiger general stopped the movement in his hand, and he frowned and said, "Then you dare to guarantee that the next generation will be better?" Li Qing shook his head. This answer, he can't give. It is said that power will blind people. Who knows if the next one to ascend the throne will continue to maintain its original intention? Seeing this, the flying tiger general said in a deep voice, "In that case, the Xiang royal family will reign for one day, and as a courtier, I have the obligation and responsibility to protect them and do my best." Li Qingrao said with deep meaning, "Once, we were all the same." The flying tiger general is full of fighting intent. This time, he will not show mercy to his subordinates. Let's try my newly developed knife technique, Tiger Roar Pingang. The flying tiger great general held the knife above his head with both hands, shouted loudly, and the spiritual power of his whole body was charged from foot to head, and finally converged into his hands. The color of heaven and earth changed, the whole world seemed to come to an end, and in everyone's eyes, only the sword light was seen, and nothing else. The blood-red ember knife glowed with dazzling light, like a judgment of heaven and earth, and every inch it moved brought extremely terrifying power. The sword is gone, the blood shadow is out. The red sword light, mixed with the screams of countless ghosts, slashed towards Li Qing. These souls are all revenants under the sword of the Flying Tiger General, containing endless resentment. Li Qing chuckled, "You boy, I'm afraid I forgot, what I'm best at is not fists, but legs and feet, right?" Li Qing before the sword fell, a flash burst into front of the Flying Tiger General. Divine Dragon Swing Tail, Li Qing's right fist slammed to the ground, and the Foshyong Heavenly Mind Dragon behind him roared. I saw him kicking towards the Flying Tiger General, and the Thunder Dragon behind him roared up and down, opened his blood basin and mouth, and bit the other party fiercely. "Yahoo, take it." The Flying Tiger General suffered heavy damage, and his body was kicked and flew uncontrollably. Face the wind. Suddenly, a figure appeared out of nowhere, teleporting behind the Flying Tiger General. Brush brush brush, the wind god Yahoo made a quick slash in the air, the sword light and shadow, no one knows how many swords he cut in total. Finally, Yahoo's right hand was raised high and a sword slashed it to the ground. "General," the soldiers of the National Army shouted. Someone hurriedly carried the Flying Tiger General down, but Li Qing and Yahoo did not stop him. "You wouldn't really hack him to death, would you?" "No, you also know that my big move does not hurt much, mainly to break the defense." Li Qing nodded secretly. The Flying Tiger General was a respectable opponent and partner, but his position was different, and he didn't want the talent to fall. Once the Flying Tiger General dies, the Gentiles will definitely have ideas. The soldiers of the national government angrily scolded Li Qing and Yahoo. "You don't talk about martial virtue. Say yes to single out, and the result shakes people. Soldiers are not tired of deceit. This truth, your general did not teach you," Li Qing replied indifferently. "If you haven't taught it, have you learned it now?" The soldiers of the national government suddenly said that they are all opponents, no matter how cunning and vicious the other party is. If you lose, you lose. Don't make excuses for yourself. 18 generals flew up in the army, all of them had the strength of the middle god or above. There were so many people, even Li Qing felt numb in his scalp when he saw it. "I can't imagine that the national government is actually hiding so deeply." Li Qing's eyes darkened. Sure enough, what he said before was a lie. Talk about the strength of the national government, it is not suitable to conflict with a family. What deceives is all deception. This is only part of the generals, and they have not been dispatched. Moreover, the masters of the royal family and the imperial court have not yet been dispatched, and the devil knows how terrifying the real strength is. Li Qing's face was solemn, and there were 18 middle gods at once. Even if he could fight 5 of them, he really couldn't solve so many people. The thought of the thousands of students standing behind him made him reassert. If you want to break into the desolate ancient academy, step on his corpse first. Teacher, Fang Yu came over, and also brought a group of experts from the 6th Dao Academy. Director Fan followed, and all the teachers of the desolate ancient academy who were advanced in cultivation also came. "You," said Li Qing with a frown, "didn't I let you hide a long time ago?" Fang Yu smiled. No, I thought what you said was, let's hide the students, this is our academy, not just Dean Li Qing, you alone." A certain teacher of the 6th Dao Academy spoke up. "That's right, this is everyone's academy, it's our home. Our common home. The national government invaded academy, I want to do something to our students, ask us as teachers first, if you agree or not. Swear to guard the academy." Li Qing choked, he did not dare to take off his eyecloth, for fear that someone would laugh at him. Fang Yu patted him on the shoulder and said, "Teacher, you used to teach us that youth will not retreat, and we also have things to protect. Since you want to fight, let's get beaten together." Fang Yu's words greatly encouraged the teachers who came over. Moreover, when they gradually learned of the hidden strength of the national government, they were extremely angry. In the past, for the sake of the stability of the great Xia dynasty, they compromised many times, and they forcibly did not teach the family a lesson. Unexpectedly, in the end, it turned out that he was the clown. The people of the national government do not dare to fight, but do not want to fight, and the national government and the family are in the same stream, forcing the worldly children to corner. Since they sent it to the door, then we are welcome. The Earth God King sighed and said helplessly, "Alice, the old man is going to retire. Since you want to be young, then the old man accompany you to the end." Fang Yu, Taiying God, Moon Dance God, and Earth God King stood beside Li Qing and Swift Wind God. Behind them, there stood one academy teacher after another, Although their cultivation was not high, some only had the fusion realm, but they were full of youthful enthusiasm. Come on. Chapter 158. Shallow, where are you going? Leaving Ruzu, he pulled Li Tiansha, who was trying to go out. Their students were led to a safe shelter early in the morning by their teachers. Li Tian's eyes were light red, although the teacher did not say the reason, but she had already guessed that it should be related to herself and Brother Ji. Since the Guofu army is coming towards Brother Ji, then she will block Yuanjie no matter what. Shallow, don't be impulsive first. At this time, Feng Ming stood up. That's right, you and the squad leader are their primary targets. If they want to go, it should be us. Yes. Let's go together. Aren't you afraid of death? On the road of cultivation, I am afraid that death will not become a big thing. Xiaonan quietly closed her eyes on the side and did not speak. In fact, in her eyes, this little force was not afraid at all, and they were just nervous. The students who were placed in the shelter said a word, and finally decided not to be a shrunken turtle. You guys have to eat alone by yourself? Are you sure you don't want to bring us? Yes, there are more people in our second class than you, so we want to go together. Since the second shift has gone, how can the third shift lag behind? Juniors are so passionate, we can't lag behind them as seniors. At this moment, all the students of the Wasteland Academy burst out with unprecedented cohesion and fighting spirit. The same scene happened in the 6th Dao Academy. On the other side, Yuanjie opened his eyes at this time. He had already opened immortal cultivation, sensing an unusual spiritual power. He used his white eyes to observe, and soon understood everything that happened at the door. Want to get me? Are you sure that sending these people will be able to deal with me? He is not closed to death, he can stop cultivating at any time, but forcibly interrupting it will cause today's triple experience card to be invalid. It seems that my 3 newly learned skills have come into play. Yuanjie put his index fingers and ring fingers together, in a cross-shaped seal. Multiple shadow doppelganger, go, poof. 50 shadow doppelgangers were summoned from behind him, each with an independent consciousness. Because the number of people on the other side was too large, he arranged for Pain Wudao to deal with the unexpected situation together, although he felt that it was unlikely that the government would make a move. You can't kill students in a frenzy, right? At the gate, the great determination shown by the teachers of the academy moved the soldiers, and they were worthy of respect. If it weren't for the difference in position, they really didn't want to be enemies of it. It is a pity that the king has her life and cannot be violated. 30 million soldiers are ready to go under the orders of the generals. And the Huangfu Palace Yun and Wang Badian and the others who were hidden nearby had solemn expressions. They knew earlier than the people of the academy that His Majesty was going to kill the academy, because there were people in the palace. However, they did not dare to act rashly, for fear that the imperial court would misunderstand the relationship between the family and the academy. The second is that if they send out experts to help, the people of the academy will definitely not be able to appreciate it. The two sides have long forged an indelible grudge, and if there is too much entanglement, it will be counterproductive. Alliance Master, I think it shouldn't be a big problem for us to drive away the soldiers of the national government in the name of the family alliance, right? At this time, Yu Huxa whispered. Huangfu Gaogayan's eyes lit up. It was indeed feasible. Because the Wasteland Academy and Zhenxi Academy are facing each other at the gate, some of the 30 million soldiers of the national government have already requisitioned the territory of Zhenxi Academy to station troops. Wang Badian expressed concern. However, we have already talked to the national government and let them station there. If this is done, will it? Huangfu Gaogayan raised his eyebrows. Chat? Did they talk to people from Zhenxi Academy? Is it agreed by our Maison Alliance? It is true that this is the truth. Zhenxi Academy promised you, but the Saga Alliance did not agree, which is reasonable. The heads of the 3 major families soon launched an operation and arranged for people to forcibly expel the national army staying in Zhenxi Academy. What do you mean? It is said that how can it be changed temporarily? You're looking for Zhenxi Academy. What does it have to do with my family alliance? A certain general of the national government was so angry by the people of the family alliance that he almost vomited blood, and he had never seen such a brazen person. They can only be forced to evacuate Zhenxi Academy, but where can so many people go? There is no place to stand. I had to evacuate and settle elsewhere. This walk, that is, 10 million soldiers, immediately relieved a lot of pressure for everyone in the academy. The 5 gods of the academy are on strict readiness to resist the offensive of the 18th general of the national capital at any time. and the teachers behind them are always paying attention to the sudden attack of the soldiers below. Although most of the soldiers are mortals, they are armed with powerful thermal weapons, which is still very threatening to the awakened physique below the Great Lake realm. Fire! The gun truck parked in the back row fired tongues of fire, and countless shells began to bombard the Akatsuki Academy School District. The outermost school building was quickly blown up and collapsed. The Earth God King hurriedly built a sand wall, but the National Army quickly adjusted its bombing strategy, shooting at a higher angle, and then letting the shells fall freely to bombard at will. The Earth God King is indeed very strong, but he can only build a 1,000-meter-high wall at the top. The Guofu army is stuck at his limit distance, allowing the shells to invade the campus of the Akatsuki Academy. Dean, I can't help it. My hands may not be heavy, the moon dance god said with an indifferent expression. Her awakened physique is an SS-level magic imperial wind attribute, obviously a talent who can become a top magician, but she likes to dance swords. And it also allowed her to walk out of a different way to become a god. Tonight the pearl will open with the full moon. The moon dance god held a giant sword in one hand and stood on his chest. I don't know if it's an illusion or a phantom, everyone only felt a trance in front of them, as if they saw another full moon blooming behind her. The direction of the moon dance's attack was precisely the artillery carriage in the back row. I saw her elegant slide flash, like a breeze directly passing through dozens of artillery vehicles. She gently put down the giant sword, and after 3 seconds, the gun carriage that had just been passed through by her flesh suddenly exploded. This trick is really beautiful and sassy. Coupled with her peerless appearance, people can't take their eyes off. Good, the wind god shouted loudly. He followed closely and attacked the gun carriage in the other direction. He gently picks up the hilt of his sword with his left thumb and draws it with his right hand. Fierce wind, he swung a sword with all his might. Unexpectedly, a huge and powerful tornado was brought up. The tornado destroyed the parking lot, destroying dozens of artillery vehicles on the other side. The generals in the air turned red after seeing it, and they went out, but they did not expect to indirectly destroy nearly 100 artillery vehicles. And each of these artillery carriages is a precious treasure of the national government, and the cost is not low. If you go back now, you will definitely not be able to explain to your majesty. You guys, look for death. Several generals swooped down from the air and shot at the moon dance god and the wind god. The big war is about to break out. Seeing that the generals of the national government began to move, the academy sent others to start looking for their respective opponents. Step by step, the soldiers approached the school gate with thermal weapons in hand. More than 100 teachers, looking at the sea of people in front of them, their faces were unprecedentedly nervous. Teachers, don't be afraid, we are all here. At this time, more than 10,000 students came out of this smoke. Chapter 159. The teacher was not happy, but more worried. How did you guys get out? Go back. This is not the place to stay. The students stood still, looking at her stubbornly. After all, the teacher gave up persuasion. Since they started the industry, they have seen too many life and death partings, and now, it is only sooner or later. Every year, 1,000 people enter the 3 major colleges, but only 100 may graduate successfully. Starting this year, because the children of the family are no longer accepted. In order to cultivate more human resources, the enrollment requirements have been relaxed, and this year there are 5,000 new students. Several times more than in previous years. In this troubled world, no one is spared. Li Tiansha opened the injured door and was about to rush over, but was stopped by Xiaonan. Bring this, I'm afraid that when you die, I can't explain it to my brother. Li Tiansha looked at the other party deeply and nodded. Thank you. In the sky, the leaders of the Great Evening Realm Cultivation and the generals of the national government are fighting fiercely. On the ground, the students and teachers of the academy fought bloody battles with soldiers armed with thermal weapons. Since it was a bloody battle, there were soon casualties. A classmate in the 3rd class was shot through the chest and died on the spot. Her death made the expressions of other classmates stunned. It turned out that this was not playing a game, nor joking with you, it was really going to die. Generally, the students of the elite class are not in any danger, and the students of the Far Royal Department Physique use their skills on the back of the 9-tailed fox summoned by Feng Ming. Xiaonan spread her angel wings and flew into the air, turning into a spear one by one, and she raised her hand and threw it forward, piercing the chests of the 2 national generals. The generals were stunned. Why is this girl with a student's ID so powerful? Li Qing, Feng Yu and the others also stayed where they were. They originally thought that they had overestimated Yuanjie's combat effectiveness, but they did not expect that they underestimated it. Just now, the paper spear that was thrown at random, the strength did not reach the level of a high god, and it was impossible to kill the two generals of the middle god in seconds. Don't look at me, my brother is much better than me. Xiaonan's appearance made the five gods of the academy suddenly have confidence. Maybe this battle may really be won. Li Tiansha was hit by a bullet in the waist, and she frowned in pain. Soon, seeing her wounded, hundreds of soldiers surrounded her. They took up their guns and were bound to solve her. Li Tiansha's combat effectiveness was too high, and he knocked down 10,000 people with one punch, causing great casualties to the national army. She tore open her coat and gritted her teeth and simply bandaged the wound on her waist. Hundreds of guns, tongues of fire burst out at the same time. Bang bang, suddenly, a circle of black flames spread out from Li Tiansha's body, instantly devouring the soldiers. What is it? The soldiers behind were horrified, and they quickly stopped. The black flames were still spreading, burning 50,000 soldiers to ashes in an instant. The soldiers who survived did not dare to take a step further, for fear of being contaminated with a strange flame. Brother Ji, is that you? Li Tian gasped and replied to himself. This black flame is naturally familiar to her, and it is one of Yuanjie's skills, Amaterasu. Her eyes glowed with a strange red light, startling everyone. Thank you. Li Tiansha touched the jade pei hanging on his chest. This jade pei was given to her by Yuanjie when she was a child before, and she has always worn it on her body. If I can go back alive this time, I promise you. After 10 minutes of hard and bloody battles, only half of the academy students still had combat effectiveness. The other half of the students lying on the ground, some of them died of jade, and before they had time to take a good look at the world, they closed their eyes forever. Some are dying, but there is no one to help. The rate of casualties among the teachers of the academy was much heavier than that of the students, and now only 30 of the 100 remained. However, the number of soldiers in the national government was too large, and although the soldiers were killed and injured much more than the students, a steady stream of them was replenished. Although the Huangfu family did not take the initiative to participate in the battle, they immediately sent experts to start the whole network live broadcast on the spot. The evil deed of sending troops by the national government to slaughter the teachers and students of the desolate Six-Dao Academy spread out. Countless citizens were outraged. I bought a watch last year. Is this court still human? Why don't even young students let go? Crazy. They must be crazy. This group of lovely students, all of them are the proud children of heaven, and they are all the future of Daksha. Is there any more humanity? Xiangjie, do you know that you are ruining Daksha? I also feel sorry for the group of soldiers, whose weapons should have been aimed at foreign enemies, but at their own people. Forget it, let's quickly let my child drop out of school. I would rather he be an ordinary person all his life than he would do things for this kind of court in the future. The Xiangmao Peak in the palace knew that in the territory of Daksha today, people all over the country were full of grievances. 1 and 2 people are denouncing him, and countless angry people are marching in the streets, and they can't stop him. Moreover, according to reports from the front, the losses of the national government army were also serious. Can't fight anymore, let them back out. Xiang Maofang quickly gave the order and demanded the withdrawal of troops. Originally, he just wanted to arrange for the army to go over and scare the academy, but he didn't expect them to be so strong. Would rather sacrifice one's life than compromise. There are only 7 generals left in the air battle. And the academy gods, because of Xianan's joining, relieved a lot of pressure. Moreover, Xianan's attack damage is high, and the flexible piece of paper can also resist a fatal blow for them. Li Qing wiped the blood on his face and said indignantly, "You guys open your eyes and take a good look below. They used to be the people you wanted to protect." Young corpses lay crookedly on the ground, shocking. There are teachers, there are students, and more are soldiers. The only 7 generals left, they looked confused, and now they are more and more suspicious. What exactly are they fighting just now? Knowing that His Majesty's decision was wrong, and it was a big mistake, why did he have to fight to the death without hesitation? Obviously. They have the chance to avoid this battle. Their worldview began to crumble. Why? Why did you do it? In this battle, not only thousands of young students died, but also tens of millions of soldiers, which could not be described as tragic. Aren't they compatriots? Aren't they family? Why? Your Majesty has let us withdraw our troops, A general had red eyes, and he covered his face and said painfully, "It's all it here, what's the use of withdrawing troops? Why did you go early? The king's order is inviolable, and we can't help it. The eldest husband can do something, and he can do it or not. Your Majesty? His Majesty is also a mortal man, he has his own ambitions and dark sides, why can't we make the right judgment ourselves? Alice, what else is the use of you saying this now? Everything happened. The general killed himself with a sword, and he blamed himself and felt sorry for his dead compatriots and their families. The general's self-slaughter shocked everyone greatly. The remaining generals, sighing, had to withdraw from the academy territory with the remaining 20 million soldiers. At this time, an incomparably cold voice came out. Did I say let you go? Chapter 160. I said, let you go. The desolate ancient academy was too big, and Yuanjie's shadow doppelganger got lost, and it took a long time to find the door. When he saw Li Tiansha sitting against the wall covered in blood, he was furious. The shadow avatar summoned by Yuanjie this time is really very chicken, and it is estimated that it is related to the current strength. Except for the ability to put spiral pills, there are no other skills, and they can't be used. Not to mention Sano. They couldn't even use the flying thunder god, otherwise, they would have flown to Li Tiansha's side long ago. One of the shadow doppelgangers walked up to Li Tiansha and helped her up. Brother G, Li Tiansha shrugged his head and called weakly. The shadow doppelganger did not answer, after all, they were just shadow doppelgangers, not the Buddha-figure Yuanjie, and some words were not suitable to say. The two shadow doppelgangers lifted Li Tiansha and quickly transferred her to Yuanjie's side. At present, only the Buddha figure can save her, and there is a recovery potion. The people who stopped looked at the 50 Yuanjie in shock and didn't know where they came from. They look exactly the same, even the same clothes. They also had anger on their faces. Super large jade spiral pill. Each of the 48 Yuanjie shadow doppelgangers held a huge spiral pill and smashed fiercely towards the group of soldiers. The spiral pill belongs to the wind attribute skill, and the powerful energy tears the soldiers to pieces one by one. Moreover, the destructive power of each spiral pill is very amazing. Almost every spiral pill killed 50,000 soldiers, 48, or almost 2.5 million soldiers. The generals were frightened by this trick. They quickly attacked towards the shadow doppelganger hit, and the group of Yuanjie just turned into a cloud of smoke and disappeared. None of them are real bodies? What the hell is this skill? The teachers and students of the academy were shocked. Can't the ontology release such destructive skills? Moreover, Yuanjie was able to summon 50 doppelgangers at the same time? That's too strong, isn't it? The national army came quickly and withdrew quickly, and they were ready to leave as soon as they received the order. Unexpectedly, a short-haired woman with angel wings on her back blocked their way. My brother said, he didn't let you go, you just stay here. With a raised hand, she built a wall of countless detonation charms to surround the soldiers of the national capital. Some soldiers did not believe in evil and wanted to go forward, but they were blown to pieces. The two shadow doppelgangers carried Li Tiansha and soon came to the cultivation place of Yuanjie's body. Yuanjie opened his eyes abruptly. He saw that Li Tiansha's injury at this time was actually very serious. His heart tightened, and he hurriedly interrupted his cultivation and went up to heal her injuries. He picked her up, took the recovery potion and applied the injured parts of her body to the outside, and then fed her a dozen bottles of recovery potion. He transferred her to the Kamui space and raised his head, his eyes cold. Yuanjie used the flying thunder god to teleport behind Xionon. When the generals saw the Lord coming, they grabbed their weapons and prepared to go up and capture them alive. Yuanjie turned on the immortal law in the 6 Dao modes, transforming into a white-haired boy. He didn't want to say a word, and directly clasped his hands together and drank. Immortal law Mudun true thousands of hands, a wooden Buddha statue 2,000 meters high rises from the ground. Buddha does not ferry you, I will ferry you. The wooden Buddha gently raised his right hand, turned his palm into a fist, and the wooden hand behind him extended, punching into the group of soldiers. This time, Yuanjie did not have reservations, and directly summoned the strongest state of the wooden Buddha, which was much taller than in this Hongxin royal mansion. Therefore, the power is not an order of magnitude at all. How could the remaining more than 10 million soldiers withstand the attack of thousands of real hands? Even their generals did not dare to move forward. This move, even if they had the strength of a middle god, they were afraid that they would be killed in seconds. What's more, they are now seriously injured and are not enemies at all. Yuanjie, stop! Li Qing flew to the top of the wooden Buddha to stop him from continuing to slaughter the soldiers. Dean, get out of the way. Yuanjie regretted it at the moment. If he knew that the other party was so ruthless, he would have stopped cultivating long ago and directly stood up and killed them all. In the end, he was still too greedy, thinking of being promoted to the great evening realm faster. Now his thirst for strength is even greater than before. Yuanjie, listen to me, they just obeyed the words of that drug emperor, not their intention. In fact, they already have their subordinates to show mercy, otherwise the teachers and students will be more seriously injured, and one day if you sit in that position, they may still be your right hand and become a powerful force. Yuanjie muttered, Dean, don't say anything. I don't need foolish people, and if I want to be my subordinate, I must have the ability to distinguish right from wrong. Moreover, they killed so many students and your colleagues that you want to let them go. Have you ever asked anyone else? Li Qing looked back at the group of people from the Wind God, and they avoided his gaze almost simultaneously. The meaning is very clear, and the 3 words kill all are written on the face. Li Qing looked at the surviving 18 million soldiers with complicated eyes, and finally sighed. Yuanjie did not kill all in the end, leaving 10 million soldiers because they were withdrawn from Xianxi Academy. They did not actively participate in this crusade at the first time. As for you, do it yourself. Yuanjie looked at the 6 generals coldly. The generals first kowtowed deeply to the dead students and teachers of the academy, and then drew their swords and killed themselves. Yuanjie gulped several bottles of recovery potion to restore himself to its most perfect state. He drove Susanoo across the entire city and flew from the academy territory to the palace. Countless Jingchang residents looked up at this blue giant with a look of surprise. Did it mean that flying is prohibited in the central area of Jingchang? Who is this man? So bold. Don't care who it is, can you open such a huge Dharma world? Can it be an ordinary person? I seem to remember, it's that. I remember a guy fighting with a Gundam like this. Yuanjie, yes, that's right, it's a genius who just awakened the SSS-level physique this year, isn't it? In just a few months, has the strength become so strong? Yuanjie flew to the palace and landed directly, and the entire palace trembled 3 times. There is an enemy attack. Protect the holy driver. As soon as Yuanjie landed, he chopped everywhere. The surface of the perimeter of the palace quadrupled. Heavenly obstruction shocking star, in the outer circle of the palace, 3 huge meteorites suddenly appeared above the head. Meteorites are falling at an extremely fast speed. Amaterasu. Added Earth life. Not only that, Yuanjie even attached black flames to the meteorite, directly filling the attack power. Xiang Moftan was hiding in the imperial study in fear, and he didn't dare to come out at all. Dog Emperor, you remember for me, today next week will be the day of the collapse of your Shuang's royal family. Chapter 161. It would take about 7 more days for Yuanjie to be promoted to the great evening realm cultivation. At that time, he will directly enter the palace and put the Dog Emperor on the spot. 3 larger and larger meteorites not only smashed the outer circle of the palace, but countless state officials were buried underground, not giving them a chance to escape. Yuanjie was angry at this time. Due to the Dog Emperor's selfish desires, Li Tiansha was injured. This is what he cares about the most. If it weren't for the fact that he only had the cultivation of the fusion realm now, he really wanted to enter the palace immediately. Every time the great realm is improved, the strength can increase by more than 10 times. I think that when he was first promoted to the gradual convergence realm, the Sharingan evolved from Sangao Jade to Kaleidoscope, and obtained the pupil technique that enhanced the effect in all aspects. And when upgrading the fusion realm, it opens the eternal Kaleidoscope Riding Wheel Eye. Not only the white eye evolves to the 3rd stage, you can open the 6 modes, but also additionally learn the heavenly hindrance shocking star, add earth life and God will ash. So what kind of improvement will he have when he upgrades to the great evening realm? It should be possible to evolve to the reincarnation eye and the reincarnation eye, right? Of course, strictly speaking, the eye of reincarnation did not completely evolve from the eye of the riding wheel. It is necessary to have certain conditions, but Yuanjie has a system, and this condition becomes no longer a condition. It's a logical evolution. After Yuanjie left 3 super large meteorites attached to Amaterasu, he even stretched out his right hand and condensed a laser to destroy the imperial study room in the inner circle of the palace. This behavior is undoubtedly a provocation to the royal family, and it is simply not to put the Xiangxi imperial dynasty in the eyes. Damn it, there were masters of the royal family with gloomy faces, staring at the blue giant who was flying away with resentment. They did not receive His Majesty's order, so they could only hold back their anger and did not make a move. The next morning, the 100 officials who came to the upper dynasty were stunned when they first entered the palace. They wondered if they were in the wrong place. Where was the royal palace? It is clearly the scene of the disaster. Not only were the palace gates destroyed, but even the outer palace walls collapsed more than half. What is even more exaggerated is that half of the building of the palace is left with only a bare foundation, which is no longer the same as before. Your Majesty, some officials wanted to ask what was going on, but they were embarrassed to ask. The military attaches knew one by one. Didn't that one send an army of 30 million to the desolate ancient academy and the 6-Dao academy to arrest people yesterday? Unexpectedly, 18 generals with mid-level divine strength fell. Those 30 million soldiers are like meat buns beating dogs, there is no return. The dead were killed, the wounded were wounded, and the tens of millions of troops who surrendered did not know where they were arranged to hide. Even the highest strength general of the imperial dynasty, the Flying Tiger General, is now alive and dead. It seems that I used to underestimate the academy, some civil officials thought to themselves. The strength of the academy was strong, which surprised everyone. Even in the meeting of the Saga Alliance, everyone was silent. This matter is so big, not to mention the people of Jingcheng, and even Daxia, almost everyone knows about it. Something starts, nothing retreats. Your Majesty, the minister has something to say. It was the Taishi who spoke, and his status among the civil servants was transcendent. Emperor Xiang Maofeng's face did not look very good. Wixchen thinks that for SSS-level talents, they should not provoke, but recruit an. Xiang Moften angrily patted the dragon chair. Do you think Su has gone too far? Indeed. The ancients had a rule, war fighters, only women and children do not kill. And what His Majesty did yesterday is indeed outrageous. Even 99% of the public servants serving in the national government believe that it is an extremely stupid decision for His Majesty to tear his face against the two major academies of Desolate Gu and 6-Dao and send out to fight the army without authorization. No matter how excessive Yuanjie is, he should not threaten him with the lives of other civilians. No matter how you say it, they are all SSS-level geniuses. If they can be used by the country, the combat power of the great Xia dynasty will rise to a higher level. What's more, His Majesty's grudge with Yuanjie was completely caused by His Majesty's hand. If he hadn't listened to the rumors of the harem and issued a wanted order for the whole country without a clear investigation, he wouldn't have broken with the Yuanjie sisters and brothers. These are two SSS-level talents, both super big babies. At present, tens of millions of years have passed, and there are only 10 registered SSS-level physique geniuses left in the land of the great Xia dynasty. Yuanjie is still young, and there are infinite possibilities in the future. But this road was directly blocked by His Majesty. As courtiers, they did not dare to judge His Majesty, so they had to propose constructive suggestions on how to make amends. Xiang Maofeng calmed down. He recalled what happened in the past 10 days, and he felt that he was at a loss. Not only did the organization not do wrong, but it did a great good deed, and it is not an exaggeration to say that it is to eliminate harm to the people. And yourself? Listening to the woman's words, there was a gap and dispute with the SYNOPSIS organization. If I had not issued a wanted warrant at that time, but had announced that there was a reward, would the result have been different? It is a pity that there is no regret medicine in this world, and there are no ifs. Emperor Xiang Maofeng heard the courtiers below and sighed faintly. Alice, it was a misstep, impulsive, and regretful. Dear Aching, do you have a good way to make up for Zhuan's mistakes? The civil servants, you talk about everything you say, and one after another give advice to your Majesty. Only the military attaches and the officials of the family are sneering. You say so much, it's all nonsense, whimsical. A general stood up and mocked. Since His Majesty's attack on the academy yesterday, the imperial court and Yuanjie have been the end of death. The Taishi frowned. He didn't like someone coming out and smashing the field. What should General Zhao say? How? How else? Can't you see reality? Some data show that His Majesty impulsively invaded the academy yesterday, resulting in heavy casualties among the teachers and students of the Wasteland Academy. 70% of the teachers died, and half of the students returned to the West. If you were Yuanjie, do you think you would forgive? Will it fit down? The civil servants were suddenly speechless. They really didn't know that things had developed to this point. They thought it was a small fight yesterday. In this way, it is futile to say anything at this time. Coupled with the yesterday afternoon, Yuanjie directly smashed half of the palace, and his attitude was already very clear. Seriously, is there no way? Xiang Moftan asked weakly. He regretted it and really wanted to slap himself. Unless, Your Majesty can resurrect the teachers and students who died yesterday, and then go and talk about the whitewashing organization, the military attaché spoke quickly, without the slightest emotion. Xiang Moftan has been in government for many years, and he panicked for the first time. He was ruthless to sit in this position. He didn't want to die. I don't want the Xiangxi dynasty to be buried in my generation. He announced his retirement with a lost soul, and sat alone on the dragon chair for a long time. At this time, concubine Zhou called delicately, Your Majesty, it's time to play games. The concubines have prepared a lot of surprises. Xiang Moftan turned around, and concubine Zhou looked at his expression quite right. Your Majesty, you. Why? Zhou Gifei's pupils dilated. She couldn't believe it before she died. Wasn't she the person His Majesty's favorite person? So, is love gone? A sword was inserted into her chest, and a generation of beauties came to an end. If it weren't for you, slut, how could you have committed such a mistake? Chapter 162. In this world, there is no shortage of women. When the base is large, the number of beautiful women will increase simultaneously. He was the emperor of the current dynasty, and the most important thing in the 3 palaces and 6 courtyards was beauty. He hates concubine Zhou. Your Zhou family is gone. Why should the royal family be affected? However, even if Xiang Moftan killed concubine Zhou, it would not help. What should come, will come. The imperial study was bombed, and he could only work in the palace. Hoarding for a week without dealing with it gave him a headache. Most of the problems reflected in the compromises are similar everywhere. If the indiscriminate definition of the Zio organization as sinners was the trigger for the people's anger before, then yesterday's invasion of the academy was to completely detonate this anger. It's all at this point. It's already hard to control. Abroad, the Lord of the Flying Eagle country was full of praise for the DuPont nobles. Dear DuPont, you guys did a great job this time. Although the conspiracy to strengthen the potion was strangled in the cradle by the Zio organization in advance, the things caused by this made the Great Xia dynasty stormy. I have to say that if there was no matter of strengthening the potion, the Zhou family would not have been destroyed in advance. Xiang Maofang would not be seduced by the favored concubine Zhou, and issued the wanted order for the Zio organization. Probably there will be no back. Duke, I propose that we add another fire to it. The two whispered secretly, planning the follow-up, looked at each other and laughed. Great Xia Jingcheng, Royal Palace. Your Majesty, something has happened. A panicked figure stumbled into the dormitory of Xiang Maofang. At this time, the emperor was correcting the folds on the desk. He glanced at it expressionlessly and asked, What's the alarm? The Xiangjian mausoleum was bombed. What? Xiang Moftan couldn't help it for a while, and exclaimed. He quickly stood up, his coat was gone, and walked over with a high toe and asked, What the hell is going on? When did it happen? Who did it? He eagerly threw out his soul 3 questions. The maid who reported was frightened by Xiang Mufang's expression, and she lowered her head and replied, Just now, the Xiangjian mausoleum outside the city was inexplicably attacked, and the damage was heavy. When our soldiers came to check it, they found that there was no dregs left. As for who it is, I haven't found out yet. Xiang Moftan was speechless. He felt that this matter was definitely premeditated, and it was aimed at their Xuang's royal family. However, this man is so vicious. Someone actually did something lacking in virtue. Take the sacrifice, and blow it up directly. There is nothing left. Well, don't talk about sacrifices, estimated. Xiang Maofang's eyes were black, and he was half dead of anger. Thorough investigation. Be sure to investigate this thoroughly. The maid hurriedly retreated, thinking that if she had ruined His Majesty's good deeds, she would most likely not survive. Take advantage of its anger, quickly pack up and run. Therefore, she took what Xiang Moftan said as a wind in her ears, and you treated her as a fool, and went to pass on the imperial edict of asking for a thorough investigation? Your Majesty, a noble concubine came up, supported him and said softly, Could it be, which one did it? The object of Xiang Maofang's suspicion just now is Yuanjie. But the master of the state palace who ambushed and monitored the desolate ancient academy did not find that he had been in and out during this time. It shouldn't be him, he doesn't have the guts, and he won't have this ability. It can quietly sneak into the heavily guarded Yuanjie mausoleum, and bury a large amount of explosives, which is detonated at the same time. This kind of thing is unheard of, unseen. If it hadn't really happened, Xiang Moftan wouldn't have believed that someone would be so lacking in heart and do such a bad thing. Suddenly, he thought of something worse. Dragon Pulse. Xiang Maofang's eyes widened. Yes, and the Dragon Vein. The Dragon Vein is the thing that maintains the luck of the Xiang royal family, and once destroyed, it means the decline of the Xiang clan. He quickly put on his yellow robe and went out to arrange for more masters to garrison the Dragon Vein. The Dragon Vein must not be destroyed. This is the only bottom line. Brother Ji doesn't know. If he knows, he doesn't need to be reminded by you, and he will explode the next day. At this time, Li Tiansha walked into Yuanjie's cultivation bedroom. Yuanjie Kan opened his left eye, glanced at it, and said lightly, "You are not shallow. Who are you?" Li Tiansha was stunned for a moment. Of course she wouldn't admit it. "Shallow is not that big. I know better than you, plants." Careless. Li Tiansha transforms into a blonde girl with an exotic face and blue pupils. Yuanjie frowned. "People from the Flying Eagle country? Those who can transform into other people's appearance?" He has only heard that the Flying Eagle country's supernatural has this ability. The blonde approached familiarly and wrapped around the meditating Yuanjie. Unexpectedly, in the next second, he was shocked by Yuanjie's Shenluo Xian's hang and slammed into the wall. The blonde spat out blood, apparently not lightly injured. Yuanjie poured out turbid breath. "I hate the smell of perfume on your body, it smells like a piece of..." The blonde took a pill and after alleviating her injuries, she stood up and said charmingly, "Gigi, I didn't expect you to know how to pity Xiangxiang and cherish Jade at all." Yuanjie smiled. "Am I familiar with you? Once born and cooked twice, we can take each other one step further and get acquainted with each other." It seems that you have seriously studied the culture of the great Xia dynasty, but unfortunately, I am not interested at all." These words killed the sky, and the atmosphere was immediately embarrassed. Just say what you are here for. Let me see what good is going on." The blonde exhaled deeply. Although she was a foreigner, her speech was very standard. "We want to be your friends." Yuanjie shook his head. He knew it was so. "Do you think I can't do it myself without you? You are just from a humble background, and your cultivation is not high. We think you have great potential and want to make a good relationship." "No, I don't like to eat soft rice, and my mouth is very open." "You think about it again. There is no cost, and it will definitely satisfy you." Yuanjie closed his eyes and did not answer. The blonde waited for a long time, saw that there was no response, felt bored and turned away. When she walked outside the door, she saw more than a dozen Yuanjie standing there waiting for her. One of them, Yuanjie, grinned and said, "Trespassing into foreign territory, trying to plot something wrong, so you want to leave?" The blonde frowned. She didn't expect the other party to stop her outside. She said with a cold face, "How? Do you still want to punish me? Do you know who I am? I'm the eldest daughter of the Ross family. I care who you are. When it comes to my territory, I have the final say." If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 163. The blonde subconsciously took a step back. She was afraid. Her powers are not aggressive, just a metamorphosis. The two Yuanjie tied her up and escorted her back to the body. "For the time being, I haven't figured out what to do with you, so let's lock you up first." The blonde still wanted to make a final struggle, and she shook her body desperately, bringing a wave. "Nope. You can't do anything to me. You don't know the true strength of the Ross family at all." Yuanjie's eyes narrowed, but he didn't expect that the other party's words gave him a new idea. "Since that's the case, then you just let me know about it and see if I'll be afraid." The blonde froze, her eyes widened, and her pupils showed a pattern of two swords crossed, which was Yuanjie's chakra eye kaleidoscope. After some visits, Yuanjie opened his eyes. He had just searched for blonde's memories of the Flying Eagle country. The Ross family, which belongs to the third largest family in the Flying Eagle country, is preceded by the DuPont family and the Adams family. Among them, the DuPont family dominates almost all the technology industries of the Flying Eagle country, similar to the background of the Huangfu family, controlling almost all the weapons and media industries of the Flying Eagle country, and most of the high-ranking officials in the Flying Eagle country are members of the DuPont family and have a strong position in the country. The Adams family is the richest family in the Flying Eagle country, monopolizing all the energy industries and industries in the country, and even the black industry, and 15 of the top 20 rich people in the Flying Eagle country are members of the Adams family. But Adams was obsessed with business and was not interested in politics. The Ross family controls the food, clothing, housing and transportation of the people of the Flying Eagle country, among which the food and real estate industries belong to the head position. The distribution of masters of the three major families is not a secret in the big families. The DuPont family has 100 powerhouses equivalent to the Great Late Realm, and Adams is the most exaggerated. There are actually 300 Great Late Realm powerhouses, most of which are mercenary relationships. The Ross family is also not weak, and there are also about 150 Great Late Realm powerhouses. In the Flying Eagle country, the three major families have recruited almost the masters of the entire country, unlike the Great Xia, which is distributed everywhere. Even if it is a small family in Jingcheng, there are 2 or 3 Great Late Realm powerhouses. Compared with the two countries, the strong are definitely the most in Daxia, but they are very scattered, unlike the Flying Eagle country, which is almost concentrated in the hands of the three major families. As for the physique of geniuses, since the division of physique in the Flying Eagle country is measured according to destructive power, unlike Daxia, Daxia is divided according to potential. Yuanjie thought to himself, if he was born in the Flying Eagle country, it must be at the SSR level. I can't imagine that a Flying Eagle country actually has such a mind. It seems that they must have secretly supported a lot of forces in the Great Xia dynasty. There are only 4 countries left in this world, namely the Great Xia dynasty, the Flying Eagle country, the Black Duck country, and the Great Bear country. The 4 countries are in different plates and are not adjacent to each other. The 4 countries fought each other, and each of them did not like each other. However, for hundreds of years, due to the huge impact of the spirit beast tide on a global scale, the 4 countries temporarily stopped fighting. It's just that the recent turmoil in Daxia has made the other 3 countries ready to move again. After the forced soul search of the Sharingan, the blonde loses the basic adult thinking ability, and is not stupid, but her IQ is reduced. Yuanjie didn't kill her, but just threw her into the Shenwei space. The current cultivation progress, plus 3 times the cultivation experience card, as well as the daily sweeping experience, it will take about 7 days to advance to the Great Evening Realm. Huh? Yai, you actually broke through? Yuanjie stood up in the castle, and she stretched lazily, revealing perfect curves. After sitting for almost half a year, her legs and feet were a little numb. She checked her cultivation, her small mouth opened slightly, and she was surprised. I actually broke through the Great Evening Realm. Susu came over and looked at her carefully. Yes, I didn't expect that you would actually be promoted to the Phaseless Realm. Yuanjie fell into deep contemplation. Could it be that because of the particularity of this alien space, she successfully evaded the shackles of the Heavenly Dao and smuggled into the Phaseless Realm? In the past month, her cultivation had progressed very rapidly, so she simply took them back and devoted herself to cultivation. I actually received an unexpected surprise. She put her chin in her hand and stared out the window into the void. It seems that in the future, I can let my younger brother come here to cultivate. Thinking of this, she stood up and changed her clothes. I haven't seen him for a month. I don't know what his current realm is. Have you been lazy lately? So, she greeted Susu in the room. Susu, I'll go out and see them. Okay, I'm not going out. You have to be careful that Heavenly Dao finds you. Yuanjie nodded, took out his black magic staff and swiped towards the void, and his slender legs stepped into the wormhole. As soon as she returned to Daxia, she particularly clearly felt the forcible suppression power of the Heavenly Dao on her cultivation. There is no relegation, but the strength is only half of the real Phaseless Realm. However, half is enough. A high-ranking god in the Phaseless Realm can hide 100 top levels of the Great Late Realm. Every breakthrough in the Great Realm is a qualitative leap. Moreover, don't forget that Yuanjie is also a genius with an SSS-level physique, and his combat power is several times more than the SS-level physique that ordinary people can awaken at the highest. After all, the physique that can only be awakened by special bloodlines is not comparable to ordinary people. When Yuanjie first arrived at the gate of the Wasteland Ancient Academy, she saw that the campus was damaged beyond words, and her eyes instantly became cold. She rushed in as fast as she could, relieved to see groups of classmates and teachers doing rebuilding work. Since ordinary classmates are fine, the younger brother should be fine. Before she closed the gate, the average median god could no longer threaten Yuanjie. Hey? Isn't this senior sister Yuan? The students of the 6-Dao Academy were arranged to help at the Akatsuki Academy. And someone recognized Yuanjie at a glance. Yuanjie nodded faintly and smiled, and she asked the nearest teacher, "Excuse me, do you know where my younger brother Yuanjie is now?" The teacher looked at her blankly. "Isn't this Yuanjie, who is famous and known as the first SSS-level spirit imperial genius in the Great Xia Kingdom?" I don't know, or should I take you to Dean Li Qing? Trouble." Yuanjie followed and soon came to a makeshift command place. "Yuanjie," Feng Yu called in surprise. "Hello Dean." Feng Yu stepped forward and looked at her. He probably hadn't seen her figure in 2 years, right? Li Qing also raised his eyes at this time and looked at Yuanjie curiously. In an instant, his pupils contracted, and his face hung with disbelief. "Yuanjie, shouldn't you be? Broke through to that realm, right?" Chapter 164. If we say that the most obvious difference between the Great Evening Realm and the following cultivation is that he has mastered the special skill of Dharma, phase heaven and earth, then, the biggest feature of the phaseless realm is, when you look directly at the phaseless realm, you will obviously see that the originally huge and incomparable Dharma phase heaven and earth have almost merged with a human body, looming behind it, becoming a halo. At this time, when the Dharma phase heaven and earth are released, they can become larger and smaller at will. The phantom is more gazed, and the high-level phaseless realm can even change the model of the Dharma phase heaven and earth, referred to as changing the skin. If you go further, the celestial phenomenon realm can even condense the Dharma phase heaven and earth into an entity. Become another version of yourself. Simply put, it is the Shadow Avatar version 2.0. As for Wei Wang Badian, Huan Fugagayan and the others couldn't recognize Susan's phaseless realm, it was because Susan was not at the stage of phaseless realm at all, but flying fairyland. That flying wonderland is another feature, of course, this is an afterword. Yuanjie nodded and admitted. Feng Yu looked at her, and then looked back at Li Qing, not knowing what kind of puzzle they were playing. "What are you talking about?" Li Qing didn't answer, and he asked with hot eyes, "Yuanjie, what is the realm above the night, phaseless?" Li Qing suddenly realized, the rope cannot be returned to nothing, it is called the shapeless shape, the image of the imageless is the trance. "I understand," Yuanjie continued, "the immeasurable righteous, born from one law, one of them is Wuxiangai. One phase without phase is two, and if one phase is known, it is phaseless, and it is not taken without phase, all the laws are empty, and the name is no phase." Li Qing deeply took these words to heart, and then he bowed. "Thank you for understanding, Yuanjie is definitely worth his worship." Although she was of lower rank than him and was a student of his students, now her cultivation was higher than his, and she preached to him, and the so-called capable one was a teacher. Yuanjie nodded, and she obviously felt that the momentum on Li Qing's body was gradually changing. Perhaps, he can take this step too, it's just that the shackles that the injured heavenly Dao placed on the world, can he really break it? Yuanjie didn't think much about it, she looked at Li Qing and asked, "Where's my brother?" Li Qing beckoned, and the wind god Jiahao walked over. "How, you take Yuanjie over to find Yuanjie." After Yuanjie left with Jiahao, Feng Yu asked curiously, "What were you talking about just now?" Li Qing looked at him with deep eyes, and his tone was excited. "Yuanjie, she has broken through to the top of the night, proved that the shackles of the heavenly Dao are not unbreakable." "What?" Feng Yu's eyes widened, he couldn't believe his ears. "How many years? It should be 30,000 years, right? Since the loss of the heavenly Dao, it was the first time he had heard that people in this world could break through the shackles of the Great Evening Realm. Moreover, this person is still his own student? Feng Yu couldn't accept it for a while, his current cultivation was only the 5th order of the Great Late Realm, and he wasn't even a low-level god. Yuanjie finally met Yuanjie, and at this time, Yuanjie was in the critical stage of breaking through to the Great Evening Realm. When she visited his cultivation, her face changed. "Good fellow, I didn't expect him to actually show Mountain Dew." Obviously a month ago, the fusion realm who had just been promoted, now it is only a long time before he will step into the Great Evening Realm. Thinking about it carefully, Yuanjie seemed to have awakened his physique only 4 months ago. Such a perverted cultivation speed is really unprecedented and unprecedented. Back then, it took Yuanjie herself nearly 2 years to cultivate to the Great Lake realm. I didn't expect my younger brother, it only took 4 months. Is he open? Yuanjie thought about it, no matter how good he was, it was still him. She walked over slowly, looked at the face that was thinking about Twilight, couldn't help it for a while, and stroked it with her bare hand. Yuanjie's body suddenly erupted with Shenluo Shangsheng, which was his self-protection mechanism. Yuanjie only showed his momentum a little, and the Shinra heavenly signs were invalid. Huh? Yuanjie suddenly sensed an abnormality, and he opened his eyes dimly. But I saw that familiar face. Yi Suking, he couldn't believe it. Then when he closed his eyes and opened them again, there was no one in front of him. Yuanjie sighed and said to himself, it seems that she thought too much, how could she be here? 2 hours later, the god of the wind came over with lunch, and he looked left and right. Huh? What about Yuanjie? When was she gone? Yuanjie frowned and asked puzzled, my sister, I didn't see her. The wind god didn't say much, it seemed that Yuanjie was just to see if his younger brother was okay, and he envied this deep sibling affection. He couldn't help but think of his brother. 200 years have passed, and I don't know if he is doing well now. Is he already married and his children? Since 200 years ago, he has been forced to run away from home and leave his home. I never heard anything about my brother again. He told others that he had been separated from his family. In fact, only he knows that he is not passively separated, but actively leaves. During this time, something happened that he still can't let go. He jumped to the roof and stuck his sword in the ground. He leaned on it, took out the shakuhachi he was carrying with him from his waist, and blew it alone. This is the voice of his hometown, and whenever he's homesick, he will play 2 songs. Yadhaya was tired of blowing, and he took out a jug of wine from the space ring and drank it down. It seems that the things in the cup can never be made up. He dropped all his thoughts, kicked his sword, jumped off the roof, and returned to the intense reconstruction work of the ancient academy. After 3 days in the Shenwei space, Li Tiansha and Jiang and Dong used careful care. The injuries on his body finally eased. She felt an inexplicable strangeness. It seems that her body has changed subtly, but where the specific changes are, she does not know. Yuanjie released her from the Shenwei space and curiously checked her cultivation. How is it still the 9th order of the gradual convergence realm? Yuanjie frowned. It shouldn't be. According to Li Tiansha's current combat strength, it is impossible to still be at that cultivation level. He threw a space ring to her and instructed, remember to absorb spirit beast crystals every day, 3 times in the morning, noon and evening. This space ring was given to him by Huangfu Gaogayan in order to please him, and it was filled with very good quality spirit beast crystals. If you sell it outside, each spirit beast crystal can probably sell for 100 gold spirit coins. Li Tiansha nodded seriously. In fact, she didn't need Yuanjie to explain. She would also insist on absorbing spirit beast crystals every day, and her determination to become stronger had never changed. Only when you become stronger can you walk with him better. Li Tiansha put the space ring he gave on the middle finger of his right hand, and Yuanjie noticed her subtle movement, and his eyes flickered. Chapter 165. In the past, Li Tiansha always stuffed the space ring directly back into his pocket, but this time. You are. Li Tiansha stood in front of him, looking down and not daring to look into his eyes. I've been thinking about it for a long time these days, and I think I should. Yuanjie was waiting for her answer. Li Tian's face was light and red, and he didn't dare to say anything. And at this moment, the human road suddenly emerged from the surface, perfectly blocking between the two. Lord Heavenly Deo, something big has happened. Yuanjie frowned. This little nizzy really didn't appear at the right time. What's going on? Li Tiansha saw that they were discussing important matters and quietly exited the room. Human Deo said eagerly, in the southern part of the Great Xia dynasty, there has been an attack by the spirit beast tide. What? Yuanjie's expression was shocked. Did Dean Li Qing say before that the spirit beast tide should not reappear within 100 years? Human Deo nodded. The intelligence is not wrong, and the spirit beast tide is much more exaggerated than the past hundreds of years ago. The Huangfu family has already taken the initiative to send vanguard troops to the disaster relief. What does the government say? Indifferent, no action for the time being. Yuanjie frowned. His expression was not very calm. Jianghu City, although not in the southernmost part, in the southeast of Daxia, But once the spirit beast tide breaks through the defense line and enters the territory of Daksha, then Jiangho City is estimated to be in ruins. He has a special affection for Jiangho City, which is a subjective idea inherited from his predecessor. After all, since he was sensible, grew up in Jiangho City. The most important thing is that his parents' graves are still in Jiangho City, and he has to go back to everything. But now, he still had 5 days to promote to the Great Evening Realm. Once used, the triple experience card cannot be cancelled, only a mandatory interruption, and the consequence of the interruption is that the day will expire. Yuanjie thought about it again and again, and decided to arrange for Pain Wudao to go to Jiangho City to guard the town. In addition, he also had to ask the Saga Alliance to send troops to guard the town. Instead of relying on the rice buckets of the imperial court, it is better to count on the family. Over the years, it is time for them to make some contributions to the Great Xia dynasty. You quickly find Huang Fugagayan and ask him to arrange for the entire mobilization of the Saga Alliance to provide all-out disaster relief. Yes, Lord Tendao. After the human Dao left, Yuanjie's face was sullen. It seemed that the plan to destroy the royal family had to be postponed for a while, and the spirit beast tide should be solved first. The southern part of Daksha was attacked by a terrifying spirit beast tide, and soon this bad news spread throughout the north and south of the Great River through the internet. Early up, the military attaché asked Ying to go to the southern part of the Great Xia dynasty for disaster relief. I object. To the surprise of many public officials, Zhang Maofeng actually did not agree to their request. Why? Your Majesty? A military attaché asked. Xiang Moftan pointed to the dragon chair and said indifferently, the national army can't go. If you guys leave, what if there is a tide of spirit beasts in the east again? Jincheng is in the east of Daksha, and the imperial palace is even more in the east of Jincheng. In case the army goes to the south to support, then if there is a spirit beast tide attack in the east, the palace will definitely bear the brunt. As soon as Xiang Moftan remembered that 200 years ago, the palace was almost destroyed by the spirit beast tide and almost fell, and he was very afraid. Compared with the life and death of civilians, he cares more about his own life. Hundreds of years ago, if the spirit beast tide had not appeared in the northeast, he would not have wasted a soldier and upon doing such a stupid thing as guarding against the spirit beast tide. Moreover, in the later period, he secretly transferred many generals from their posts, leaving only ordinary soldiers and some generals stationed outside the border. It was also the gods of the academy who stayed there, which caused Li Qing and other academy powerhouses to be forced to have no choice but to return to the territory, and had to stay outside the border to destroy the beasts. Don't dare to leave for a moment. Then, seeing that the tide of spirit beasts had almost dissipated, the imperial court pretended to arrange for 30 generals to go over. What does the lives of civilians have to do with him? Anyway, there are hundreds of billions of people in Daksha who can die. Your Majesty, think twice, the military attaché said anxiously. Don't mention this again, so be it, Sancheo, Your Majesty. The military attachés knelt down in unison, and some of them knelt down with him. They are all a group of good officials who have the heart of the world. The conspiracy peak is anxious, he hates others the most morally kidnapping him. He walked down the stairs and scolded one by one. Have you ever thought that if after you leave, the eastern part will also be attacked by the spirit beast tide, and Jingcheng will be unsafe? However, if the south is ignored, it will chill the people of the world. Xiang Mufeng's face turned blue and red, and he gritted his teeth and said, then you say, what should Su do? Please Your Majesty send 50 million soldiers to garrison. 50 million is too much, 10 million at most. More than 50 million? There are 1 billion soldiers in Daksha, although they are distributed throughout the country, but Jingcheng alone has at least 500 million stationed. Splitting 50 million soldiers out of 500 million soldiers is already the bottom line. Unexpectedly, just like this, His Majesty actually refused. Seeing that the scene was at an impasse, Zaisuk suggested, it's better to arrange for the people of the family to go over. As soon as these words came out, everyone looked different. Xiang Moftan said good 3 times in a row. As long as he is not needed to send troops, whatever is fine. The family has enjoyed the fruits of peace for so many years, and it is time for them to contribute. Although the family is the royal family and the country, no matter how close it is not as important as his own life. Once the Jingcheng garrison is less than 500 million, Zhang Maofeng will be very insecure. Moreover, didn't Yuanjie of the Zhao organization put words? 7 days later, they came to destroy their Xiangclan, and for the safety of the royal family, the army could not leave. The family official said with a mocking face, "No need for your majesty's labor." As early as yesterday afternoon, the family alliance arranged for a large army to converge with the southern family alliance to jointly resist the enemy. Xiang Maofang was overjoyed, but this expression made the military attachés indignant. On dog days, if he doesn't arrange for us to go over, isn't he greedy for life and afraid of death? A general quickly pulled his companion over and whispered, "You don't want to die? Say this in the palace. Lao Tzu really wants to take off this official robe." Lao Tzu did a grievance. "Well, who says it isn't? Do you think that's what you think?" After the generals dispersed, they collectively came to the marshal's mansion and asked to send troops to resist the tide of spirit beasts. The marshal hesitated for a moment and frowned. "Are you asking me to disobey the holy order? What a shit, emperor, just a rat." For his own sake, he actually ignored the life and death of the southern people. "Brother, be cautious," he had the ability to cut Lao Tzu off. This kind of imperial court, Lao Tzu doesn't want to stay for a minute. That's right, what General Ling said is extremely true. I have long been dissatisfied with that hair. At the beginning, he actually issued 9 military orders, asking us to urgently withdraw to Jingcheng, just to guard his 1-acre and 3-point land. Fortunately, there were academies back then, but since that war, the people of the academy have long been dead to the imperial court, and the casualties have been heavy, and now I am embarrassed to go to them for help. General Ling slammed his wine glass on the ground and scolded, "I feel right now that what SYNOPSIS Organization said is right. This dog emperor really doesn't deserve to sit in that position." Yuanjie is a group of selfish people. I listened to my subordinates' reports. Yesterday the SYNOPSIS Organization had already sent 7 masters of the 9th Order of the Great Late Realm to the south, or let's join them. Chapter 166. Don't be cranky, just talk about this in my house, don't mess around outside. The marshal turned cold and shouted at them. "The Lord of Food, the matter of loyalty to the Lord. Haven't you learned this phrase? I don't know what you guys think. No matter how mediocre Xiang Maofang is, as long as he is still in that position for one day, we, as courtiers, should not question him, but be consistent with him." The words of the marshal calmed the restless subordinates. Indeed, what he said also makes sense. In this feudal society, people cannot stand in the world without faithfulness. Since you have the heart to support the South, I can give you a suggestion. Although you can't leave Jingcheng, you can arrange for the idle people in the family to wait over, or donate money, and you can contribute a little more, Marshal Li said evilly, and finally calmed the complaints of his subordinates. After the generals had left the marshal's mansion, he walked to the courtyard and looked up at the dim purple microstar. "Your Majesty, if you do anything wrong again, even I won't be able to keep you." The southern part of the Great Xia dynasty was suddenly attacked by the spirit beast tide, and many people set their sights there. All major forces across the country have mobilized to aid the south. Because this spirit beast tide came very suddenly, and there were many of them. When the masters arrived, the southernmost city, Linhu City, had already suffered. This, too, is it too miserable? The troops of the Saga Alliance rushed to Linhu as soon as possible, and when they saw that the entire city was destroyed by spirit beasts, the ground was full of human debris, blood even gathered into a lake in the city, and the rancid smell spread to 100 miles. People who are not strong in heart instantly vomit. The spirit beast invasion is very disciplined, as if it is man-controlled, and it will exit on time at 8 p.m. But where exactly to retreat, no one knows. Life is as fragile as a flame in the wind, which can be extinguished if you are not careful. The people of the Saga Alliance couldn't help but look sad when they saw such a purgatory on Earth, and many of them experienced such a thing for the first time. This time, Huan Fugagayan arranged for each family to forcibly send 100 people to form a vanguard force. Then the 3 major families each produced 3 gods, the first 20 families each produced a middle god or a low god, and the other small families needed to send at least 1 great evening realm master. Such a luxurious lineup shows that the Saga Alliance attaches great importance to this matter. The Saga Alliance forces chose to be stationed in Maha City, next door to Linhu City. The city lord of Maha City originally thought that the imperial court had finally sent an army over, but he did not expect that it was actually a member of the family alliance. He suddenly didn't know what to say when he went up. The Southern Family Alliance sent people over, and they were grateful to the experts of the Jingchang Family Alliance who came to the rescue. Emperor Fu Alliance. Great grace without thanks. What is there to help the little brothers in the future, although the exit? Huangfu Gaogayan toasted back a cup and drank it down, and he said slowly, I only hope that in the future, if other regions of Daksha also suffer, you can lend a helping hand like us. The expressions of the people of the Southern Family Alliance froze. They didn't expect Huangfu Gaogayan to actually say such words. It is said that hundreds of years ago, they chose to stand idly by and watch the spiritual beast tide in the northeast of the Great Xia dynasty, which was completely similar to the Jingchang Family Alliance. And now, how has it been a long time since I saw it? How did I change my personality? People are selfish, originally used to paddling, suddenly someone changes, will appear very different. How? Does the rich alliance owner have an opinion? The Lord of Fumeng smiled and said, wherever, then I will actively respond to the words of the Lord of the Huangfu Alliance, and I will definitely respond to my requests in the future. Huangfu Gaogayan did not speak. He could see that this rich alliance lord said something against his will. It doesn't matter, though. At that time, if they can't do it, Jingcheng doesn't mind letting their Southern Alliance change masters. For such a trifle, it is not bothering the owner to make a move. At 6 o'clock the next morning, everyone in the Saga Alliance was woken up by the alarm. The spirit beast tide is coming, everyone go and take their places. This time the Saga Alliance has brought many young people, who have never been on the battlefield. So they don't have a sense of urgency, but the elders in the family keep urging, and they have no choice but to get out of the warm bed. At this time, it was late autumn, and after a group of young people went out, they couldn't help shrinking. Yuanjie is one of them, as a sideline of the Yu family, or a sideline given by the ancestors of the Yu family. He has no sense of existence in the family. But he had a beautiful dream. He wanted to marry the head god Yu Menghan, so that he could soar into the sky and become an existence above 10,000 people under the Yu family. Although his talent is not high, only S-class, but he looks like his name and is very handsome. Therefore, when he heard that Yu Menghan came to the south to support, he immediately took the initiative to sign up, wanting to leak more face in front of the goddess, and there was no chance to contact people on weekdays. In the Yu family, there were not many young people like him, and Yu Huaxu looked at him a few times. Yuanjie was very happy, felt that he had gone further, and almost wanted to call out his mother-in-law on the spot. However, when he came to the southern region, the situation here was not optimistic, unlike the public tourism he imagined. When he first came to Linhu City, he personally visited the purgatory on earth, and like many young people, he vomited. Fortunately, when he heard that the goddess also vomited, he felt that he and her were more and more compatible. Yuanjie, why did you come so late? The elder who led the team looked very displeased, and his companions had been involved in the battle for most of the day, and only then did anyone get up? Yuanjie was about to refute. His gaze was attracted by a fairy in white. Why are you still stunned? Go quickly, the elder kicked over in disgust. Yuanjie passively took a step forward, and when he passed Yu Menghan's side, he pretended to glance at it unintentionally. It's beautiful, although the woman wore a veil, she could not hide her dusty temperament. The figure is bumpy and the beauty of ingenuity, as if the most proud work of the creator god. Yu Menghan looked at him strangely, and quickly moved his gaze away. In her opinion, this person is mediocre and incomparable to Brother Ji. Yuanjie was greatly encouraged after gaining the favor of the goddess. He deliberately shouted loudly, "Spirit beasts, look how I kill them." He wanted to attract the attention of the goddess, and after shouting, he looked back at the goddess. The goddess is really looking at me, be careful, Yu Menghan reminded. Woohoo, the goddess is telling me to be careful. Sure enough, she has me in her heart, and she cares about me. Then a high fighting spirit burst out of him. When I turned around, I saw a chapter of Blood Basin. I blanch. Help, click numbing chewing sounded, but unfortunately, Yuanjie couldn't hear it. Chapter 167. Although the children of the family are highly cultivated, they do not have any actual combat experience, and this time is the first time they have gone to the battlefield in their lives. I didn't expect to die so miserably. If on weekdays, as long as they shout I am from such and such a family, who dares to touch me, maybe the other party will have some scruples, and his subordinates will be merciful. But the spirit beasts can't understand people, they don't care so much about you. There are many young people like Yuanjie, who are so happy and eager to express themselves, and the ones who rush the fastest have already laid down peacefully in the stomach of the spirit beast. The masters of the family saw that the situation was not good, so they had to rush up to protect them. Sheltered by the family masters, the sudden violent deaths of the younger generation have visibly decreased. Alliance Master, the first wave of Spirit Beast invasion has been resisted. Huang Fu Gaogayan nodded, and he immediately arranged for the personnel to come back and rest. Strangely, until noon, there was no more Spirit Beast. Is this invasion just a bluff? The citizens of Mo City breathed a sigh of relief. Jin Chen, Your Majesty, the masters of the two major academies have gone out. In the Imperial Study Room, Xiang Mofan was pretending to be calligraphing, and seemed to be cultivating emotions. In fact, there are kneeling concubines under the table. Gone. Xiang Mufang's eyes lit up. Li Qing's combat effectiveness is too strong. If they are there, I am afraid it will be difficult to attack Yuanjie. But now the situation is different. They are gone. Doesn't that say? Xiang Maofang is still dead, thinking of getting rid of Yuanjie and never having future troubles. Summon the marshal into the palace, quickly. Oh, soon. The marshal was led to the Imperial Study. Participate in Your Majesty. Marshal Li, please, Your Majesty. Xiang Mofan straightened his figure and walked over to help Marshal Li up. Marshal, I ask you a question. Are you loyal to Zhuan? Marshal Li said with a solemn expression. Your Majesty is the king of a country, despised as a courtier, and is willing to serve Your Majesty. Good. Very good. Xiang Maofang laughed. Now let you arrange for someone to do something very important. Marshal Li nodded. I want you, arrange the 10 grade generals, go to the desolate ancient academy, and be sure to kill Yuanjie. Marshal Li was shocked. Why did it come to this time? His Majesty still has that thought? In his opinion, Yuanjie is not the kind of person with an improper mind, and everything he does is passively counterattacked. Your Majesty, the minister thinks that this matter is inappropriate. Xiang Mufang's face instantly turned cold, and he said lightly, why do you say this? Desolate Ancient Academy has top strength powerhouses such as Dean Li Qing, and with our strength, it is difficult. Marshal Li did not dare to directly deny the emperor's idea, so he had to retreat and simply bluntly say that the minister could not do it. He politely refused. Marshal Li couldn't figure out at all, an SSS-level genius, why did His Majesty have to force each other hard? Did he have to force people to a corner? For geniuses, the best thing to do is to woo, not to be enemies. People who can awaken SSS-level physique are all chosen children, and his life must be quite hard, and he can't kill at all. Xiang Mofan replied, Li Qing, they have already left. Huh? Where did it go? Xiang Mofan did not speak. Marshal Li probably guessed. The masters of the People's Academy had his social welfare, but His Majesty, out of selfish desires, did not send a single soldier to the south to support. Instead, I still want to steal my home. Take advantage of the departure of the masters of the academy to attack their students. Doing so was indeed immoral, and Marshal Li couldn't help but look gloomy. Seeing the rich changes in his expression, Xiang Mofan knew that his heart was unwilling. Do you do it or not? I'll just ask once. After a fierce ideological struggle, Marshal Li then knelt down and kowtowed and said, the minister advises His Majesty to stop doing foolish things. Xiang Mofan kicked him away, and let him roll in disgust. He kicked with great force. Marshal Li was defenseless. He wiped the blood spilled from the corner of his mouth, got up and bowed his head and left. I'm telling you to get out, not letting you out. Marshal Li paused in his steps, took a deep breath, closed his eyes and lay on the ground. Waste, all waste. A bunch of waste. Xiang Mofan scolded and smashed the lampstand on Marshal Li's body. The deputy guard waiting outside the door saw that the marshal actually rolled out, and it was really rolled. They were furious. Roll up your sleeves and want to rush in. Stop. What do you want to do? The deputy guard was very sensible and knew that there was surveillance everywhere in the palace, and he transmitted a voice, Marshal, he is also too insulting, don't bring this up to a second person, you know. The deputy guard blushed and saw Marshal Li's serious appearance, and he nodded heavily. After Marshal Li returned to the house, Madame was distressed to medicate him. What's the trouble? You are all a marshal, and you are so careless. I'm fine, Madame, don't have to worry. Marshal Li did not explain anything. But after many years of marriage, his expression changed, and he couldn't hide it from her. In the end, the deputy guard complained to his wife with indignation. This dog emperor. To insult a marshal so much, I can't accept it. Madame stopped his words and shook her head. Brother Li has his own ideas, let's not discuss more. After the deputy guard left, Madame quietly took out an object and looked deep. Marshal Li returned to the room and stood in the attic overlooking the direction of the palace. Emperor Xian, thanks to your support back then, since your death, I feel that I have done what I should have done, but unfortunately, in fact, he vaguely guessed why the strong people of the academy chose to leave suddenly. It must be that there must be stronger people stationed in the academy to protect Yuanjie. The imperial court heard before that Yuanjie was at the critical moment of breakthrough at this time, so when he invaded the academy, Yuanjie did not make the first move. The marshal refused the matter, firstly, because he felt that it was done dishonorably, irrationally, and immorally. Second, they don't want their subordinates to die in vain. The best fate of a soldier is to die on the battlefield against the enemy, not to fall at the hands of his own people. As for what His Majesty will do in the future, it is none of his business. Since the leaders in the army did not listen to him, Xiang Maofeng had to contact the masters of the royal family. And more people are arranged. This time must not be mistaken. Be sure to kill this son on the spot. Otherwise, the consequences are endless. At 2 o'clock in the afternoon, the group sneaked into the desolate ancient academy. They used secret methods to hide the breath of their whole bodies, and evaded the surveillance around the academy all the way. There is one thing to say, the way they climb over the wall, they are really handsome. Yuanjie, who is meditating in the void, opened her eyes, and she noticed something strange. If it had been placed in the past, she would definitely not have found it. However, it is a pity that now her cultivation has transcended the shackles of the heavenly Dao and reached the point of Zhuan and Zhuan. She slowly stood up and patted the dust on her body. It seems that some clowns can't sit still. Chapter 168. The royal master sneaked all the way, and suddenly, a void crack appeared ahead. A pair of beautiful legs dressed in black silk stepped out from the inside. The legendary laws of the space system, the strong man who took the lead looked nervous. He didn't dare to imagine that the legend that only existed in the era of the Emperor Fell was actually mastered by someone in the world today. Yuanjie, who was dressed in black leather, stared coldly at the 15 people in front of him. She secretly probed the cultivation on the opposite side, among which there were 9 of the 9th order of the Great Late Realm, and it was not clear whether they had reached the strength of a high-level god. The rest of the people also reached the 7th order of the Great Evening Realm at the lowest. This lineup is really invincible in the world. No matter who is assassinated, it is absolutely impossible to overturn. Unfortunately, they met the faceless Yuanjie. Although the person who took the lead could not understand Yuanjie's cultivation, the other party's one-handed special teleportation was enough to make him afraid. He handed over his hand. This senior, we have no intention of disturbing, just passing by, and hope that our subordinates will show mercy. Yuanjie narrowed his eyes and said with a smile, you guys are here to kill Yuanjie, right? Could it be that seniors too, although they know that they are not, it does not prevent them from dreaming. Do you know my name? The royal masters were puzzled. It doesn't hurt to tell you, Ruslayer, Yuanjie. The 15 masters of the royal family immediately took up arms and made defensive postures one after another. Yuanjie's body erupted with a palpitating aura, and his long purple hair was windless. She put her hands on her chest, and in an instant, the sky and the earth changed. Then she opened her hands, palms up, and a volley rose. The royal master's face turned pale. This breath is so terrifying. What is the power? Why can't I move? Nope. She's not a big late realm. It is absolutely impossible for the great evening realm to erupt into such terrifying power. Great God, leave people under the sword. Let's go back. I swear, I will never be an enemy of Yuanjie. No, the academy too. I will be your dog, absolutely faithful dog. Please let me go. At this time, a purple heavenly thunder fell from the sky, and Yuanjie's figure was bathed in the heavenly thunder. She leaned back and enjoyed the baptism of thunder and lightning, and at the peak, a knife was slowly rising. Yuanjie pulled out the knife with his right hand, raised it above her head, purple thunder and lightning surrounded her body, and behind her, a strange eye appeared. It's late. Those who dare to think of Yuanjie are my enemies of Yuanjie. I will build you into the statue. At this moment, when it is silent, Yuanjie slashed horizontally with a knife, cutting out a void crack, and there was an eye peeping in the crack. The 15 masters of the royal family were stunned. They did not feel pain, because everything came too quickly. The leader looked down and saw that he was empty below his waist, and had already been absorbed by the special crack. She looked back at her companion behind her, and like her lower body was directly annihilated. What realm is it? As soon as her words came out, the rest of her upper body was also absorbed into the spatial crack, and the strange eyes were purple. Yuanjie, who was cultivating, suddenly opened his eyes. He frowned. He felt an exceptionally strong breath. This kind of breath he had only felt on Susu. It's just that this breath makes him have an unusually familiar urge. Brother, Xiaoxio has been eliminated by me. You can continue to cultivate with peace of mind. I have not seen his sister, but I have heard him. Yuanjie understood. Presumably his sister had broken through. Then it seems that I have to work harder. Strive to catch up with your sister one day. Thinking of this, he closed his eyes and returned to cultivation. He swam his spiritual power into every acupuncture point in his body, and every flush made the spiritual power pool expand even more. Then, a steady stream of spiritual power continuously washed the inner wall of the spiritual power pool. The Great Evening Realm is different from the breakthrough method of other realms. If it was built before, then the Great Evening Realm is a baptism. After breaking through to the Great Evening Realm, the spiritual power pool in the body will not expand, but remain as it is. Instead, the dirt left on the spiritual pool was cleaned one by one. At that time, the spiritual power in the spiritual power pool will be clearer and there will be no impurities. Yuanjie is an SSS-level physique, and unlike other physiques, his spiritual power pool will be larger, so it will take longer to break through to the Great Evening Realm. Is it long? In fact, it was not long ago, much faster than Yuanjie was at the beginning, but Yuanjie himself felt ink. Southern Daksha, since most of the day had passed, there was still no spirit beast seen, and some people even opened the champagne. Maha City was a joyful scene, and everyone was cheering. I haven't been here for so long, so I guess I shouldn't come again, right? Enemy attack, what? Huangfu Gaogayan put down the teacup and quickly moved to the city wall. On the plain in the distance, there was a dense black dot rushing towards Maha City. Huangfu Gaogayan picked up the telescope and looked at it, and his hands trembled with fright. This, so much, countless spirit beasts even brought up a strong earthquake, and the overwhelming roar made everyone in Tenaiyu City look frightened. Quick! Let the civilians retreat to the rear. How far and how far? The masters of the Southern Family Alliance were so frightened that their legs were soft, and they wanted to run. As a result, he was pulled by Huangfu Gaogayan and others. Run what run? Is running useful? This is your main battlefield, our people in Jingcheng have not left, do you dare to go? The Lord of the Rich Alliance came back with a weak heart, and he laughed and said, Lord of the Imperial Alliance, the common love of people, so many spirit beasts, it is normal to be afraid. Give me all back, none of them can go. Yu Mangan and the others showed solemn faces. This time, I am afraid that even they will not be able to keep it. The city lord of Mall City arranged for the orderly relocation of the citizens, like a dream. Unexpectedly, one day, it will actually be the people of the Saga Alliance blocking them in front. What about the people of the national government? The spirit beast tide has broken out for almost a week, and no matter how slow the army is, it should have arrived, right? Suddenly, he thought of a possibility. Wouldn't it be? The imperial court gave up the people of the south, right? The more he thought about it, the more frightened he became, so he simply shook his head and discarded this unrealistic idea. Outside the city, the people of the Saga Alliance are fighting a tough battle. Alliance Lord, our people have suffered heavy losses and can't stand it. There was a small family crying sadly. When 100 people came neatly, in just 1 hour, there were only 1/3 left. Although the top experts of their family did not come, most of them were juniors, thinking of letting them come to practice. But it's not for them to die. Huangfu Gaogayan saw the people of the Alliance fall one by one, and he was also very distressed. The spirit beast has no intelligence at all, and it keeps rushing forward. Even he, the middle god, began to struggle a little. When the spirit beasts die, they will come forward and replenish them, but they are people, and the spiritual power cannot be continuously sourced. Withdraw, we will withdraw one after another, we can't stand it. Chapter 169. The people of the Family Alliance immediately retreated to the city wall, and there was a royal line behind the palace. What? Are you going to withdraw? The city lord of Maha City turned pale with fright. Huangfu Gaogayan groaned, there are too many spirit beasts, we can't stop them. But the citizens haven't finished evacuating yet, how is that possible? We've been fighting for 3 hours, And you're telling me the people haven't finished yet? Huangfu Palace Yun flew to the city and saw that a group of people below were indeed packing up their things, and the big bags and small bags seemed not to be fleeing, but moving. His face instantly deteriorated. Immediately afterwards, he returned to the city lord of Maha City and warned him solemnly, I will help you resist for another hour. If you are still so grinding, I don't care. You have to tell them that they are fleeing, not moving. Do you understand? What pots and pans, even TVs, refrigerators, washing machines, what's the use of these things on the road? The city lord of Maha City was stunned. Wouldn't there really be Sabi fleeing with a washing machine? When he toured the city for a week, I blanched, and there really was. And not a few. Almost stuffed the whole cart to the full. So he used the city loudspeaker to inform the citizens, Maha City will fall in an hour, please travel lightly. At this time, the city fell into an even greater panic. Citizens finally felt a sense of urgency, and they loaded their belongings into their cars and drove on the road as directed. But here comes a new problem. Because there are too many people going out together, there are traffic jams. Most of the people who walk slowly are rich people, because they have a lot of valuable things in their homes. This one is reluctant to lose, and that one is reluctant to stay, so they clean up slowly. Unlike the commoners, who are surrounded by disciples, all innocent, except for the necessary clothing and a few belongings, there is only one person left. The Saga Alliance allowed the cultivators to retreat one after another, leaving the masters above the middle god to continue to guard the city wall. Among them, Yu Menghun showed extraordinary combat effectiveness. She twisted a petal, and then sprinkled it forward, and the petal was divided into two, 2 into 4, 4 into 8. A wall of flowers is formed. All the spirit beasts that passed through the wall of flowers silently turned into petals. With just this move, she killed more than 100,000 spirit beasts in a short period of time. Moreover, the spirit beasts behind continued to rush towards the wall of flowers. The flower wall is like a spirit beast meat grinder, blocking wave after wave of impact alive. The war correspondent of the Huangfu family has been broadcasting the latest battle situation live in the front, and the popularity of the live broadcast room has reached more than 50 billion. Of course, popularity doesn't mean viewership. However, at least 30% of the people were paying close attention to the situation in the southern part of Daksha. Yesterday, the vanguard of the Saga Alliance came to Linhu City, the southernmost city, and the Huangfu family kept live broadcasting. The people all saw the purgatory-like picture of the world, and there was no code, and it was bloodily displayed in front of the world. Now in my picture, it is the master of the 3 major Yu families. Moreover, she has a very famous name. Shogod. The reporter solemnly introduced Yu Menghun to the audience in the live broadcast room, but did not disclose her name. When the audience saw that this magical wall of flowers could actually turn the passing spirit beasts into flowers, they immediately exclaimed. The barrage is constantly brushing 666. Too strong. Is this the first god? The power of the first god. The power of the first god. The power of the first god. I have a question. Why haven't I seen the army of the national capital? I only saw the people of the family fighting bloody battles. Yes, what about the national capital? The family has arrived. Why hasn't the army arrived yet? Maybe there are a lot of people in the army, right? So the march slowed down. They're not going to leave the south alone, are they? Don't talk nonsense. Trust the imperial court. The masters of the family, who were killing enemies not far away, suddenly stopped moving. Like, it seems, probably, that there's nothing more for us. A high-ranking god of the Huangfu family shook his head with a wry smile. Indeed, everyone else nodded approvingly. The first god is really too strong, and he killed so many spirit gods in a matter of raising his hand, which is worthy of being the first god of the great Xia dynasty. Is this the legendary SSS-level physique? They thought that there were still 3 SSS-level geniuses in the Yuan family, and they didn't know who was more powerful than their combat power compared to the first god? An hour and a half, and soon passed. But the flower wall is still there, only more transparent. Yu Menghun, who was constantly pumping spiritual power to the wall of flowers on the city wall, suddenly vomited out a mouthful of blood. Maintaining such a large flower wall is extremely depleting to her. It's good that she's the first god, but don't forget that she's also a mortal body. Huangfu Gaogayan asked about her situation with concern in the past. It's okay, I can hold on a little longer. Yu Menghun wiped the blood stains on the side of his mouth, swallowed the recovery medicine, and continued to close his eyes to transmit spiritual power. 3 hours later, Yu Menghan couldn't support it at all, and she fainted to the ground. The female high god of the Yu family carried her on her back and left the walls of Maha City. After another half an hour, the wall of flowers completely turned into bloody petals and ceased to exist. The surging spirit beasts attacked the city wall one after another. 10 minutes later, the walls of Maha City were broken. The city fell. All the members of the Saga Alliance evacuated to Phi City behind Maha City, but unexpectedly, they were rejected. Countless refugees from Maha City were stopped outside the city gates. "What kind of plane are you working on? Why not open the door?" Huangfu Gaogayan flew to the city wall, and the soldiers immediately raised their guns at him nervously. "The city lord has an order. Phi City has a limited area and cannot accept such refugees. Refuse entry." Huangfu Gaogayan's face is gloomy. "I didn't expect that there were still fools who were doing things like this in an emergency moment. What about your city lord? Let him get out." The soldier raised his head and replied, "The city lord refuses to receive everything. Am I receiving him? I'm telling him to get out. Disrespectful to the city lord. Shoot." Bang bang bang, the soldiers on the city wall suddenly shot at the Huangfu Palace cloud in the air. Huangfu Gaogayan is a master of the Great Evening Realm. How can he be afraid of mortal thermal weapons? When he raised his hand, it was a strong wind, and all the ammunition was flown away. Yu Menghan said weakly in the rear, "Alliance Master, let's go to other places. Here, it doesn't matter, but Shaojin, the closest city to Ma City is Hiwa City, and you have to walk thousands of miles further ahead." Yu Menghan raised his finger and pointed to the mountain not far away, and his pale lips opened. "We can let them go up the mountain for a while." Huangfu Gaogayan thought for a while and nodded in response. So, he found the city lord of Ma City, who was still cursing at the city gate, and asked him to arrange for the citizens to hurry up the mountain. Finally, Huangfu Gaogayan glanced at Fei Heshi indifferently and snorted coldly. "I hope that by then, you will still be so tough and keep all the spirit beasts out." If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 170. In Maha City, 1/5 of the citizens of Maha City were trampled to death by the spirit beast tide because the retreat speed was too slow. And these people, all of them are not pressed. 1 or 2 thought that they were going to travel, bringing a lot of objects, which seriously affected the speed of migration. The war correspondent of the Huangfu family is at the end. She is a strong person with the French imperial wind attribute. She is good at flying, and there is no aggression, so she is most suitable for being a reporter. She carried a camera in the air all the way to broadcast the tragic situation of the spirit beast's siege of the city. When he saw that some civilians were trampled by spirit beasts, a barrage asked, "Why do you have time to take pictures, to leave somebody in a lurch?" Huangfu Qiu was also very rigid, and she directly refuted, "Save? How can I save alone? Our family alliance has been guarding the city for more than 5 hours, and we have long been notified of the evacuation in advance. They are not in a hurry to go. What can we do? Can't you stay for 5 more hours, keyboard man? Here you come. I'm waiting for you in the south. I see you can hold out for 5 seconds in the spirit beast tide." No, the man stopped replying. The tide of spirit beasts came and retreated quickly, and after they ravaged True Feather City, they quickly retreated. The surviving citizens of Ma City hid in the mountains near Hiwa City and camped on the spot. Many people did not bring warm clothing, and it was very cold at night. Therefore, Huangfu Gaogayan arranged for the strong man of the fire attribute to make a fire to raise the temperature, so that the fleeing citizens felt a trace of warmth. Just doing this is not the solution. What if it rains then? Everyone has no eaves to shelter from the rain. Yu Menghan was lying on the bed, holding his mobile phone and tirelessly sending messages to Yuanjie, but the other party did not reply. She looked at it, and the recent 99+ messages were all sent by her alone, and she couldn't help but feel a little lost in her heart. She knew that Yuanjie liked Li Tiansha, but he was no worse than the other party in terms of figure or appearance, and in some aspects, he was slightly better. Why was the other party indifferent and not a little moved? Jinchang Desolate Ancient Academy. Yuanjie is in an intense cultivation and is now at a critical stage. It will take another 3 days for him to be promoted to the Great Evening Realm. One thing is to say, this cultivation method is really boring, and the time is calculated in seconds. And there can be no distractions, but whenever the mind leaves for a while, you have to go through the process again. Sometimes, he loses his train of thought and doesn't know which acupuncture point to hit next. It's like writing a novel. I thought about it for most of the day before I held out a few paragraphs. Now for Yuanjie, spiritual power is enough, but the inner wall of the spiritual power pool is like a maze, and sometimes if you go the wrong way, you have to go all over again. Therefore, most cultivators will be stuck in the fusion realm and will no longer be able to improve. For ordinary people, talent is required to promote to the Great Evening Realm. Unlike before, when the spiritual power pool is full, it will naturally advance. Of course, for Yuanjie, as long as the spiritual power absorbed by the immortal art is enough. Even if it is rushing forward along a road, no matter how complicated the maze is, it will directly bulldoze the wall for you. But to do so is too time-consuming and inefficient. Now that time is not waiting for anyone, he wants to upgrade to the Great Evening Realm as soon as possible, so he will use this most primitive way. Yuanjie secretly observed his cultivation in the shadows, and after confirming that there was no problem, he looked away. She killed 15 masters of the royal family the day before, and this news finally couldn't be hidden. What? All gone? Xiang often slumped in his chair. He couldn't figure it out if he wanted to break his head. Why didn't he do it? These are 15 top powerhouses, the lowest are above the middle god, and there are even several who have reached the strength of the high god. Who the hell is it? Can actually make the 15 strong men of the royal family overturn? The people of Xiang Maofeng are stupid. This power is the strength he has hidden for many years, he can say without bragging, no matter which family can bulldoze it. Never expected that the small academy was so terrifying. He didn't know about it until today, which shows that the battle didn't cause much of a stir. They are killed by seconds, and maybe they are killed with one hit. Can kill 15 strong people of the royal family in one blow. There are actually such gods in this world? Really? Xiang Mufang's pupils shrank, and he thought of a very terrifying possibility. No, it's impossible. There is no one in this world who can break through the shackles of the heavenly Dao. Soon, he let go of his mind and stopped scaring himself. However, the sudden violent death of the 15 strong people of the royal family still caused the royal family to suffer heavy losses, and the cards in their hands were much less, and their strength was no longer what they used to be. If he dared to say that he was not afraid of Yuanjie's attack before, but now, it is difficult to say. This son is just a cultivation of the fusion realm, and he can kill the middle god in seconds. If he breaks through to the Great Evening Realm, then it will be repaid. Can't let him succeed in cultivation so simply. Got to find a way to stop him. Thinking of this, Xiang Maofeng summoned the people of the intelligence department into the palace. Where is Li Tiansha now? Back to your majesty. I left Qingchang 3 days ago and headed for the south. Xiang Mufang's eyes were sharp and said, send someone to block her. My subordinates thought they couldn't do it. It's impossible. She has Li Qing and others by her side, and the general high-ranking gods will only deliver dishes. What if it's 10 high-ranking gods? Xiang Maofeng directly uses the whole card. Since I can't deal with you Yuanjie, I'll deal with the people you care about. 10. The subordinates were stunned. How could the royal family have 10 high-ranking gods? If they had, they would have bulldozed the family for hundreds of years, so how could they be allowed to do evil? The high god is a symbol of strength, not necessarily all have a godhead, but the strength has reached that level. If all the masters in the world went to compete for the divine position, then the ranking would definitely be very volatile. Huangfu Gaogayan may not even be qualified to do low-level gods. You don't care so much, you tell me first, where are they now? His subordinates did not dare to think about it. And he replied respectfully, they are almost in the south, they should arrive tomorrow morning, now in Jianghu City. Okay, you go down. Huangfu Gaogayan plans to do one thing or the other, since there has already been a dispute, then he must start first. While the other party is still weak, you must get rid of it. Never aftermath. So, he came to the Sword Finger Pavilion, which was where every emperor of the dynasty secretly cultivated his guards. On the royal side, he will not move again for the time being. After all, it just hurts the bones, and if you go to find someone again, you may be scolded out. After 500 years of good food and drink, it is time for you to serve me. The Swordfinger Pavilion inherits the painstaking efforts of previous emperors, and both the exercises and the resources are top-notch. Even, the person who can be selected for the Sword Pavilion must be 1 out of 100 million. Even if it is only SS level, it is the most talented SS level. It is said that there are even SSS-level geniuses inside, but no one cares about it. Swear allegiance to your majesty, Zhang Maofang laughed. Laughter echoed in the attic, far, far away. Chapter 171. Shallow, is this your hometown? The students of the elite class, except for Yuanjie who was cultivating, all came, including Xiaonan. Xiaonan originally didn't want to leave, but was persuaded by Yuanjie to leave with a good voice. Li Qing organized this Southern Support Operation inter-student training project, and from each class, freely registered and selected the top 3 students in the assessment, formed a battalion, and marched towards the south. They planned to stay overnight in Jianghu City tonight and set out tomorrow to join the forces of the Saga Alliance. Wang Guolin, the principal of Jianghu No. 1 Middle School, when he knew that Li Qianrong had returned to his hometown, he quickly invited everyone from the college to be a guest at the school. Even, vacate the teacher's dormitory and arrange for them to stay. Li Qing thought about it and did not refuse his kindness. Leaders, Xianjiao, if you are not satisfied with the accommodation environment, please do not hesitate to bring it up. Wang Gaozhen walked to the room and greeted him cordially. His posture was very low. Everyone was intimidated by his enthusiasm. In fact, most of the students of the 2 major academies are from secular families, and their living conditions have been very difficult since childhood, so they are not picky. They very politely thanked Principal Wang, which made Brother Gu get great satisfaction. Hey? Why didn't Yuanjie come over? Xiaonan bit the apple and replied, my brother is at the critical stage of breaking through the Great Evening Realm, so let's come first, and he will arrive later. What? I blanch, the Big Night Realm? Wang Gaozhen dropped his jaw in shock. What kind of monster is this NM? The speed of cultivation is simply amazing. It has only been awakened for a few months, and he is about to break through the Great Evening Realm. Even the geniuses in the 10,000 Luo era with the intact Heavenly Dao had never heard of such a perverted promotion speed, right? Strong. It's so strong. It is really worthy of being a genius with an SSS-level physique. Wang Gaozhen silently gave Yuanjie a thumbs up in his heart. Li Xianxiao took a few good sisters from the first class and walked around Jianghu City. She suddenly met an acquaintance in the market. Liv? Why are you here? Liv was stunned. He couldn't imagine that in his lifetime, he would actually meet Li Xianxiao. However, she didn't see Brother Ji there, so her eyes quickly darkened. Well, my grandmother used to sell some medicinal herbs here to support her family. I was so talented that I didn't go to college, so I came to help my grandmother. Liv is optimistic, she talks with a smile. The 2 chatted for a while, and finally Li Xianxia took out money and bought a lot of emergency medicine in Liv's small shop. Ah, that's too much. Liv is very nervous. She knows that it is an old friend who takes care of her business, but this is too broken, right? Li Xianxia smiled and said, it's okay, we're going to the south to destroy the spirit beasts. These medicines can be used. Thank you, Liv saluted. The medicine Li Xianxiao bought was worth most of the sales of half a year on weekdays, and she was very grateful. In the end, she still didn't have the courage to ask. Li Xianxia saw that she wanted to say something and took the initiative to mention, Brother Ji is still in Jingcheng, he should come over soon, he is breaking through the Great Evening Realm. Although Liv didn't know what the Great Evening Realm was, she just thought that Brother Ji was very powerful. At the same time, the gap between her and him was even farther away, so far that she didn't even have the chance to look up. The spirit beast tide had invaded for 10 days, and suddenly an amazing news broke out from nowhere, which suddenly detonated the entire network. I blanch? The imperial court did not send troops to the south? What do you mean? This is to abandon the people of the south. Where did the news come from? Is it accurate? Is there any credibility? I'm sorry to tell you, it should be true. My uncle served in the army, and he received this notice. Well, what should I say? Don't say it, just scold. Sima Imperial Court. Sima Xiangxi. Brother, you are super brave. More and more uncle parties jumped out, and even passed out a recording. It was in the early dynasty that someone secretly recorded it. Then, the figures of Pain Wudao appeared in the live broadcast room of the front, and they were wearing auspicious cloud-black robes and were fighting against the spirit beast. Huh? You say ridiculous? The cult convicted by the imperial court was actually on the front line of the southern battlefield. Indeed, but I can't laugh, I even want to cry. I understand, there are masters who invade the academy, but there are no masters to deal with the family. Now the family and the cult have taken the initiative to come to the south to resist the tide of spirit beasts, and they have begun to sell miserably that there are no masters. We raise a bunch of waste every year. A demon who eats human blood without spitting out bones. Public opinion has intensified, and the reputation of the Xiong royal family, from this moment, can be regarded as completely stinking. Just yesterday, Phi City was attacked by the spirit beast tide, and it couldn't even be stopped for 10 minutes, and the city was slaughtered. However, it seems that the official of the city lord's mansion escaped and does not know where to run. The matter about Hiwa City not receiving refugees from Wall City was directly broadcast a few days ago. It's very realistic, but it's very frustrating. If you want to blame, you can only blame the city lord of Phi City. The people are innocent. Since Hiwa City blocked all entrances and exits, to prevent refugees from sneaking into the city. This led to the fact that in the tide of spirit beasts, the citizens could not retreat in time, and all the members were destroyed. No life left. Miserable, so miserable. The live broadcast website of the Huangfu family did not release the picture of the slaughter of the city, so as not to be sprayed by the keyboard man. Why not save people? Moreover, this human tragedy was only known to them after the fact. I didn't expect that the invasion speed of the spirit beast tide was actually so fast. In just 15 days, 30 million people have lost their lives. Although it is a little insignificant compared to hundreds of billions of people, it is also a living life. The difficulty of the Great Xia dynasty. However, until now, no soldiers of the national capital have been seen suppressing it on the front line. The hearts of the people were cold, completely cold, and cold. The troops of the Saga Alliance, after many days of hard fighting, have survived less than half. The scene can really be described as tragic. Today, Linjiang City has become the last line of defense. Those who survived were more or less wounded, as strong as rain and dreams, and their breath at this time was also languishing. After a long battle, the consumption of spiritual power was very huge, and even she was almost unable to hold on. Fortunately, the Pain 5 Dao of the Zio organization arrived in time, which relieved their huge pressure. However, not everyone can play the Pain 5. In the real sense, there are only two people who have attack injuries and injuries from the Beast Dao and the Azura Dao. The Hungry Ghost Dao has a hand in dealing with human powerhouses, but in the face of spirit beasts, there is no way. The human Dao is good at concealment and intelligence probing, and the Hell Dao is good at trial and maintenance. On the 16th day of the invasion of the spirit beast tide, the family alliance lost its first high-ranking god, which belonged to the Huangfu family. Due to his lack of physical strength, he fell under the iron hooves of the spirit beast, and died without a corpse. At this time, Yu Menghan was already at the end of the strong crossbow. Finally, after spitting out a mouthful of blood, she collapsed. The strongest combat power of the Saga Alliance forces has fallen, but what about the others? Miss, the female high god of the Yu family drove away the spirit beasts that attacked Yu Menghan with a fireball, and picked her up. However, she couldn't dodge, and was knocked down by the spirit beast, and she fell to the ground fiercely. Yu Menghan half opened her eyes, and she remembered the man. Unexpectedly, she did not pursue him until death, and she smiled sadly. Bang! A strong fist wind knocked down a large piece of the spirit beast group with one punch. The entire surface collapsed. Sister Menghan, I'm not late, am I? Chapter 172. Yu Menghan was hazy and saw a blonde girl covered in green spiritual steam blocking her way. Shallow, Li Tiansha turned his head and smiled at her, and then looked sharply at the surging tide of spirit beasts. Jingman, open, the momentum of her whole body has climbed another peak. Then he jumped into the air, and hot flames burst out of his fists. Towards the peacock, bang bang, countless flames shot out of her hands, causing round after round of violent explosions on the ground. One move, this move alone, deprived 100,000 spirit beasts of their lives. This shocking scene was just captured by Huangfu Qiu, who was broadcasting the battlefield live in the air. She looked at Li Tiansha's information and couldn't help but be stunned. Audience friends, this is a freshman at the Wasteland Ancient Academy, and I won't disclose my name. The barrage instantly brushed up. I'm Zhou, anchor, You didn't lie to me, did you? The combat power of freshmen is so terrifying. I think you must be gasping for air at this moment. How do you know? I couldn't help but gasp, and I suck too. Too strong. The newcomers to this academy are really powerful. Then, the next sentence of Anchor Huang Fukiu plunged the entire live broadcast room into a more chaotic scene. I just looked at this classmate's information, and the information shows that her physique is, audience, Greek letter sigma. I suspect the streamer is teasing us, but I have no proof. This kind of powerful move, you tell me it is an F-grade physique? Isn't the F-level fire attribute of the lore royal system only used to burn firewood? No, your focus is crooked, right? People are physical royal systems. When can the body royal system also issue long-range moves of fire attributes? The audience entered into heated discussion. Brother ZHI came out and explained, I know her. I was fortunate to have a middle school with her in high school, when in the re-examination of the spiritual power exam, people abused the children of SS-level families with F-grade physique, and they were admitted to the desolate ancient academy with their strength. In the battle, Li Tiansha became more and more courageous, and she felt that she had endless strength in her. She found that her spiritual power pool was different from ordinary people, obviously very small, but it seemed to be inexhaustible, which was very strange. Therefore, on the surface, she is a cultivator of the ninth order of the gradual convergence realm. In fact, which level of cultivation is the storage capacity of the spiritual power pool, no one knows. Moreover, she suddenly felt that it was not spiritual power in her body at all, but another kind of energy. Li Tiansha continuously fired dozens of cannons at the peacock, and it seemed that he was still very capable of fighting. Her heroic performance stunned everyone in the Saga Alliance. Is this mud horse an F-class physique? How do you feel that the combat power is even more exaggerated than the first god? The first god Yuanjie spent 4 hours killing 5 million spirit beasts, and Li Tiansha was good, killing more than 5 million spirit beasts in 20 minutes. Even the students of the elite class of the Wasteland Academy were stunned, as if they had become more violent since they were seriously injured. Is it difficult? She was opened through the second pulse of Rendu? The powerhouses of the desolate ancient academy and the Six-Dao Academy almost poured out, greatly easing the defensive pressure of the Saga Alliance. Let them have a chance to breathe and recuperate. At the same time, the scene of the teachers and students of the academy heroically killing the enemy on the front line touched countless people. As the saying goes, when the great Xia dynasty rises or falls, it is the responsibility of the husband, and even a college student who has just reached adulthood rushes to the front line without fear of death. So what about us? That's right, although the contemptible people have no combat effectiveness, they have some spare money, and I am willing to donate to the South. Don't chill the hearts of strong men, let them eat and drink well. Compatriots in the South, you have suffered, we see it in our eyes, we hurt in our hearts, we can only talk about our meager intentions. I am willing to donate 100 gold spirit coins, I'll give out 1,000 gold spirit coins, come to an account, although I don't have any money, I can donate my husband's book immediately. Girl, you are a good person. If there is no money, forget it, I have money, I will give out 100,000 gold spirit coins. The people of Daksha burst out at this moment with a touching super cohesion, those who have money to contribute, those who have materials to produce materials, and those who have the ability to rush to the south overnight to do their best. The Huangfu family urgently opened a direct donation channel in the live broadcast room, and opened a new live broadcast room, which was responsible for tracking and reporting the people's donated property, which was used to the greatest extent. The proceeds were allocated by the Jingchang Family Alliance and transported to the southern part of Daksha at an extremely fast speed. It is said that after such a toss by the Huangfu family, the world's impression of the Family Alliance has changed a lot. It turns out that not all the families are bad people, but there are still family bones. It's just that you guys who don't read enough to believe in their show. The leader is the Huangfu family, the head of the three major families, and the people's style has always been very good, not like that kind of small family and small wealthy family. Right, indeed, I agree with what was said on the upper floor. Generally speaking, big families are clean, and they don't look down on your little profit, and people don't have time to oppress you. Anyway, this spirit beast-tide invasion, I turned black powder to the Saga Alliance. Compared with a royal family, what the family did this time is indeed personnel, not black. Daksha netizens talked a lot. Now that the spirit beast tide has passed for so long, they have never seen any people from the national government come to support, and they have long had the answer in their hearts. Although they don't say or make trouble, their hearts are very open, and some things are seen through without saying. Yuanjie is only one last step away from breaking through to the great evening realm cultivation. Once he steps out, he will teleport to the south through the flying thunder god. The royal family doesn't care about it, although he is not the virgin, but he believes that every normal person who crosses over will choose to do this, right? Except for some brainless trolls and people with incorrect views. The more you get to the last step, the harder it is to cross. Yuanjie cultivated a sweat, and his brows kept tight. Yuanjie was distressed to see in the void, but she didn't have any good way, and now everything could only be done by himself. Today is the third day that the teachers and students of the academy rushed to the south to resist the spirit beast tide. Li Tiansha, like other friends, was responsible for cleaning up spirit beasts in his area. But at this moment, several mysterious people dressed in yellow suddenly came behind her and pushed her with a palm. They tried their best to control their strength, for fear of beating Li Tiansha to death. You guys. Who the hell is it? Just when Li Tiansha was about to face danger, Rinnegan and Tenseigan arrived behind her in time. Dragon host. Idlers do not obstruct, otherwise, there is no amnesty for killing. A high-ranking god of the Sword Finger Pavilion said in a deep voice. Kyukyu, quick, there is a conflict over there, hurry over and live broadcast. Dragon Lord, Rinnegan observed the other party's clothes and the tone of speech, and she had a faint guess in her heart. Could it be? Are you your majesty's people? She screamed. The mysterious man had a gloomy face, and said word by word, it's good to know, don't you quickly get out of the way. Tenseigan twisted his fingers, and a paper spear suddenly appeared behind him. Say, why are you doing something too shallow? The killer of the Sword Finger Pavilion has not been in the world for a long time, and his thinking is a bit simple. Your Majesty has an order, capture her alive, and escort her back to the palace to wait for her release. Chapter 173. What if I don't allow it? Tenseigan is not from this era, and she has no reverence for the so-called royal family. A paper spear directly pierced the high-ranking god who spoke, bringing out a blood flower, and then was caught by the person behind him. The master of the Sword Finger Pavilion didn't expect that the other party would actually start directly, and didn't talk about it. What's there to talk about? No matter how you talk about it, you will not easily let go of the shallow, and talk about a fart. Ridiculous. It is worthy of being a high-ranking god. Even if he is pierced through the body, he still stands, and he has not been killed in seconds. They are like painless robots that don't frown a bit. That's just right, I didn't want to be polite. The 15 masters of the Sword Finger Pavilion were ready to strike, and a variety of powerful energy struck towards Tenseigan and Rinnegan. Unexpectedly, Rinnegan just gently raised his right hand, and all attacks turned into petals in the sky. I heard you're going to do it? Sorry, all long-range attacks are ineffective against her. Rinnegan's strength was beyond their expectations, and the faces of the masters of the Sword Finger Pavilion suddenly became solemn. Tenseigan chuckled, ho ho, you shouldn't forget that my spear is still in your hands, right? Bang bang bang, the paper spear detonated in an instant. Evoke intense energy. The master who was pierced through the chest by the paper spear just now had an explosive charm left in his body, and it exploded directly from his body, exploding into blood mist. And the master holding a paper spear, because he was too close, half of his body was blown up. The remaining 13 were more or less affected by the aftermath of the explosion. Within one move, he destroyed 2 high-ranking gods of the Sword Finger Pavilion. Such a record is really terrifying. The audience in the live broadcast room looked confused, and they didn't know why they didn't resist the invasion of the spirit beast tide, but their own people fought. Huangfuqiu had just learned part of it from her companion's mouth, and she said in a cold voice, it's the Emperor, he wants to capture that sister into the palace as a way to threaten the SYNOPSIS organization. As soon as these words came out, the barrage exploded. What's with you? The Dogecoin Emperor doesn't send people to support, and you still want to do something to your own people, right? I really served this comatose monarch, I didn't come, and I attacked the people who came. These dozen people are high combat power at a glance. Don't hit the spirit beast, but hit the student instead? The dog emperor stepped down early. If someone opposes, Lao Tzu is the first to support him. Upstairs warrior, dare to say this on the internet. The experts of the Sword Finger Pavilion did not know how much their behavior had set off on the internet at this moment. They still went their own way, and a steady stream of attacks bombarded the three people on the opposite side. The scene was chaotic for a while, which immediately attracted the attention of everyone in the Saga Alliance and the Academy. What's going on over there? How did it fight so intensely? It seems that the Dog Emperor is coming to arrest people. Zhou, is this still worth it? Let's go get the handle. They must not be allowed to succeed. 5 high-ranking gods of the Saga Alliance came, as well as Li Qing and the Moon Dance God. They put down their attack on the Spirit Beast and flew over to find trouble with the Swordfinger Pavilion. The Swordfinger Pavilion is worthy of being the Emperor's exclusive dark chess, and its strength is much stronger than that of ordinary higher-ranking gods. It's not that the high-ranking divine water of the Saga Alliance is too strong. After all, they are masters trained by gathering the power of a country. Soon, the scene entered a one-sided situation. The 5 high-ranking gods of the Saga Alliance were seriously injured, and Li Qing's body was also hanging. In contrast, Xiaonan and Yumenhan are more calm. Yumenhan's rose petals have a trace of erosion law, and if ordinary people touch it with their hands, it is like drowning in sulfuric acid and slowly corroding away. Therefore, she and Xiaonan figured out a combination of tricks a few days ago. She attached rose petals to Xiaonan's white paper, which would dissipate whenever it touched any object. This trick was tried and tried, which greatly alleviated the spiritual power consumption of the two people, and the lethality was extremely great. When dealing with a tide of spirit beasts, it is usually Xiaonan who spreads his angel wings and flies inside, sprinkling white paper with rose petals along the way. As long as the spirit beast is contaminated, it directly turns into thick water. And this trick also worked against the masters of the Swordfinger Pavilion. Although they have a way to get rid of the slow-flying rose petals, they can't avoid the white paper with strong adsorption. After a while, the white paper on Xiaonan's body wrapped the high god of the Swordfinger Pavilion all over his body. Seeing this, Yumenhan attached the rose petals to it, and the corrosive power of the petals penetrated the back of the paper, directly turning that high deity into a pool of blood. I didn't expect the effect to be so good. It seems that my slightly less aggressive shortcomings have a way to be solved. Yumenhan looked pleasantly surprised. She felt that her and Xiaonan's physique was a perfect match. The cooperation between the two was seamless, and they killed 5 masters of the Swordfinger Pavilion in 3 minutes. Not only did the masters of the Swordfinger Pavilion with the strength of the high-ranking gods fall by 2, but the middle gods also suffered heavy casualties. However, they did not retreat. Even if there were few people, they still continued to rush forward like the death squad. In their consciousness, a belief has long been deeply imprinted. If you don't succeed, you become benevolent. It's hard to say whether it's benevolent or not. Anyway, death is not afraid. At this moment, 2 high-ranking gods quietly broke through the protection of the paper flower and quietly approached Li Tiansha. Just as they reached out and grabbed Li Tiansha, her eyes suddenly turned into kaleidoscopic chakra eyes. A black flame burned on them. It was Yuanjie transcribing the Amaterasu sealed in her eyes. It is triggered automatically in her emergency. When the soldiers of the national government invaded the academy last time, it was triggered once, but the amount was relatively small, and later Yuanjie sealed a little more Amaterasu. The 2 high-ranking gods were caught off guard, and their hands were stained with Amaterasu. They waved their knives expressionlessly, without the slightest hesitation, and cut off that hand. The broken hand fell from mid-air, and was quickly gnawed away by the spirit beasts, but I didn't expect that in the next second, Amaterasu suddenly spread across the ground for 100 miles, and all the black flames were on the ground. The masters of the family who were fighting with the spirit beast froze, hurriedly retreated as far as they could, and quietly looked at the black space below. "Good guy, so fierce," someone exclaimed. "It seems that for a while, you won't have to do it yourself, and the spirit beast invasion won't have to care." In this way, more family alliance masters and academy powerhouses freed up their hands and joined the melee with the Swordfinger Pavilion. This scene has been tracked and broadcast live by Huangfu, and the live broadcast room has long been scolded, and even the special yamen of the national government can't stand it. The so-called law does not blame the public, not to mention, they are also ordinary people. They feel that the barrage is right. How can there be a reason not to unite with the outside world, but to fight within yourself? So, some special yamen personnel quietly went offline, and they changed into new vests and joined the People's Crusade against the Dog Emperor. Don't say it, it's quite high. It's much more comfortable than finding fault and catching people. Chapter 174. Popular resentment intensified, and this sentiment even spread to the military. Marshal. That dog emperor just wants you to do this? Thankfully you refused. I don't know what the situation is. The story of the marshal's attack and humiliation some time ago spread among the army. Now the army has a faint monarch when he opens his mouth and closes. Dog emperor. No one cares at all. How to manage? You say one or two and forget it. The problem is that everyone else scolds, so except for the marshal, can you catch hundreds of millions of soldiers and more than 1,000 generals? The people have lost their trust, the army has lost their momentum, and the conspiracy peak can now be described as a rebellion and departure. It's just that this forces himself to be good and ignores all this. That is, he didn't know, everyone else knew, but no one told him the truth. In fact, he is quite pitiful, everyone is hiding from him and cooperating with him to act. Oh no. He still has the loyal subordinates of the noble concubine and the sword finger pavilion, and he is not a widow. Your Majesty, the concubine heard that the attitude towards you in the army is very bad. Leng Yifei climbed on Xiang Maofeng's chest with one hand and poured pendant in his ear. Oh? Who dares to be disrespectful? Xiang Maofeng raised his eyebrows, he thought that someone else had an opinion about him. Afterwards, he summoned the spies who monitored the situation in the army and asked, is there anyone in the army who has different intentions? Recruit from the real thing. That spy's heart jumped, which old six passed it out. On weekdays, he mingles with soldiers, which is his professionalism. Going with the flow and disguising himself as an ordinary person is his professional habit. But scolding, he took it seriously. The spies were brainwashed by the soldiers, and now he also scolds. He also scolded so loudly that no one forced him at all. Thinking of this, the soldier replied solemnly, Your Majesty, I think you have listened to the rumors? Everything is fine in the army, and everyone respects you very much? Yes, Xiang Maofeng frowned. Are you sure no one scolded me? Nope. The detective looked serious, which made Xiang Maofeng believe it to be true. Compared to Leng Yifei's words, he believed in spies more. There is no reason for spies to lie to him, right? However, the struggle between the noble concubines is particularly fierce, and it is inevitable that some people will be careful. So, he secretly dealt with concubine Leng and she died well. Southern Daksha, the masters of the sword finger pavilion, the whole army was destroyed, and not a single one remained. It's just that the people of the Saga Alliance and the Academy also paid a lot of money. Because His Majesty's people came to make trouble, the spirit beast tied in the next few days did not have sufficient combat power to resist it all. Alliance Master, you can't hold on. When Huang Fu Gaogayan heard this, his face was solemn, he knew why, he really couldn't blame them. In this regard, Linjiang City held on for a few days, but in the end he still couldn't hold on. Fortunately, the population has long been evacuated, and the losses are not too heavy. In the live broadcast room of the Huangfu family, the audience was speechless. Some people questioned, why don't you do your best to hold Linjiang City? What's the use of raising you? As soon as these words came out, they were immediately attacked by countless people. Laugh at me, there won't be fools who think that it is the soldiers of the national capital who defend the city, right? No way. They didn't do anything, but sent people to fight the heroes. If it weren't for the injuries of the family and the academy, Linjiang City would not have been lost. Aren't you going to lick your master's son and send someone to support? Brothers have money to earn together. How much is one? Take me with you. I have decided that from tomorrow I will not hand over the endowment until Xiang Maofeng steps down. Add me one. I don't hand it over either. I'd rather spend money on a few dogs and help me keep the house. Raise them just because of use? After the special gate was put down, the people of Daksha completely let go, and no one cared about the scolding that should be scolded. I can't control it, there are so many people who scold, why only arrest me? Just because Zheng Mei is very good, how can Su Gaong and Zheng Yi? One thing is to say, this is the first time that there is such an emperor that everyone scolds, but he himself does not know it. It is all written that the world is peaceful, Zhen do not miss, and the conspiracy peak believes. Even in the early morning, he showed off his great achievements. He was very happy, because in the early dynasty, one military attaché after another praised His Majesty's heroic martial arts, far surpassing the previous emperors. Since the people want him, everyone supports him. He plans to increase his endowment this autumn by another 10%, but he can't live up to the expectations of the people. When this notice came, The people of the world laughed angrily. This dog emperor actually brazenly plastered gold on his face. This is not all. Why should Fufu add 1%? Originally, some people hesitated not to hand it over, but now it's good. Put it rotten. You just continue to pit our people. I won't give you a penny. Today is the last day when Yuanjie's triple cultivation experience card expires, and his current cultivation progress is still stuck at 99.99%, and he has never been able to take a step forward. He didn't know what was wrong. The spiritual power of the rushing level is enough, but the road is wrong. He stopped cultivating irritably. It was 11:56 at night, and the triple cultivation experience card had 3 minutes left to expire. He walked out of the secret room and went to the tall building to empty his mind. At this time, Yuanjie came over and brought a familiar fragrant wind. What's wrong? Stuck? Yuanjie nodded listlessly. You are too hasty. I think back then, it took me a year to break through to the great evening realm. Yuanjie comforted him. Yuanjie's eyes were gloomy, and he was silent. He is so eager because now that new challenges are coming, he must have greater strength to protect the people he wants to protect. Now he must have a physique, be gifted with talent, and have an external plug-in. So what's the difference? The difference is truly invincible to the world's strength. Although this is not something that can be done overnight, what good is it if you can't protect the people you care about the most at the right time? The most afraid that nothing will be too late, and it seems that nothing can be done. Suddenly, his heart suddenly realized. He quickly ran back and re-entered the state of cultivation. Yuanjie looked at his hurried back and shook his head. In the past, like him, she had such a tangle. And now, with the increase in strength, she feels that it is wrong to think so. The so-called things are man-made, some things are done and some things are not done. Sometimes, people have to give up to gain. Yuanjie's mentality at the moment is different from Yuanjie's, because their strength is not an order of magnitude at all at present. As long as the heavenly Dao continues to be damaged, as long as the mysterious hidden door is not born for a day, she is synonymous with invincibility in this world. However, she knew that according to her brother's perverted cultivation speed, as long as he broke through to the great evening realm, he should soon be able to catch up with her, and even surpass her. Chapter 175. In the southern part of the Great Xia dynasty, the attacks of the spirit beast tide became more and more frequent, and even the number of spirit beasts increased day by day. The people of the Saga Alliance and the Academy gradually began to be a little powerless. They retreated to Jianghu City, behind Linjiang City. Once the spirit beast tide broke through Jianghu City, it could declare that the southern part was lost. Fortunately, with the fermentation of the incident, more and more people in Daksha extended a helping hand, and the lives of refugees were greatly improved. Some people even have a better life than before they fled. In the past, they lived in thatched huts with leaky winds, no clothes for the cold, and often had difficult days when the last meal was not the next. And now, the strong people of the French royal system with soil attributes have built houses for them, although they are a little simple, and finally they don't have to sleep in the open. The already small city of Jianghu has now become more crowded with refugees from both cities. Fortunately, the former side of the K family and the family has not been occupied and managed. This gives the refugees a place to live. The end of one life is the beginning of another. The academy brought a lot of earth element Dharma students this time, which came in handy now. The fire element and the earth element work together to build the house, and the gold element students are constantly making the necessary furniture, such as beds and sofas. The new city lord of Jianghu City learned the lessons of the previous Jiangcheng lord. In the face of the Saga Alliance and the academy, he was particularly polite and felt guilty. Then, several giants in Jianghu City contributed money and efforts. Li Tiansha is coming. Will Yuanjie come? They are afraid that their family will turn into dust overnight like the K family. Let's not say what the motivation is, at least what they are doing at this time is a good thing. And the people of Jianghu City, one by one, they are very enthusiastic. Because they know that if they want to keep their hometown, they can only rely on this group of masters. They didn't do anything difficult for the refugees, maybe they might become partners in the future. Strictly speaking, they are actually the same kind of people. Seeing the loss of one city after another, the people of the Southern Family Alliance could not sit still. They began to get serious and stop paddling. If you paddle again, you will rush to your own house, can you not pay attention to it? At the same time, Huang Fugaogayan contacted the people of the Western Family Alliance and the Northern Family Alliance and asked them to send masters to jointly ward off the enemy. The families in the West and North thought to themselves, if they didn't help this time, what if the spirit beasts on their side invaded the next time? Those who help others, people always help. They did not hesitate and arranged for 1/3 of the masters of the headquarters to come to the rescue. Also, the hidden strong people of the people also came. They said only one word. The rise and fall of the great Xia dynasty is the responsibility of the husband. This invasion of spirit beasts is completely a civil force and has nothing to do with the imperial court. Let other countries be impressed by Daksha. They were all very envious, because their land was also invaded by spirit beasts. This time the tide of spirit beasts is huge and extremely destructive, and it is a disaster that occurs once in 10,000 years. The whole planet is shrouded in darkness. Compared to the other three countries, the resistance of the great Xia dynasty can be regarded as the best. The Black Duck country next door, in less than a day, fell to more than a dozen cities, with countless deaths and injuries. Even the Flying Eagle country was in a state of anxiety at this time, and he couldn't get out at all. Early the next morning, on the wall of Jianghu City, a large group of strong people stood there. In the Great Lake realm alone, there are 50 people, which is almost a quarter of the combat strength of the great Xia dynasty. Above the strength of the low-level gods, half of them are accounted for. Xianhou College was also arranged for teachers and students to come to guard Jianghu City. After many days, Wang Qing saw Li Tiansha, but did not find Yuanjie's figure. She walked over and asked weakly, "What about Brother Ji?" Li Tian smiled lightly and said, "Brother Ji is breaking through the Great Evening Realm now, and he can't get out at the critical moment." "Oh?" Wang Qing nodded slightly, and then asked, "Why did this breakthrough take so long?" In her impression, Yuanjie's cultivation speed was simply perverted, and breaking through and upgrading was the same as drinking water. At the beginning of the spiritual power test, her cultivation was even higher than Yuanjie. It was the 6th order of the gradual convergence realm, and Yuanjie only had the 9th order of the Heisei realm. Now, she only has the cultivation of the 3rd order of the fusion realm, and everyone Jija is breaking through the great evening realm. Originally, she thought that her cultivation speed was already the best among her peers, but she didn't expect to have a renewal. But she was not upset. Such an excellent man is someone she likes. She is truly happy and proud of him. Xiaonan was not happy when she heard this. "You are actually questioning my brother? How can the great evening realm break through so easily? You haven't cultivated to that level, so you think it's very simple, right?" Wang Qing was choked by Xiaonan's words. She didn't know her. Therefore, her tone was not very good. "Who are you? Is it your turn to speak here?" "Yo, the eldest lady has a temper." Xiaonan was funny in her heart. "In terms of identity, I am nobler than everyone here, the 3 major families of this era." She really can't look at it. Back then, her family was a country, and you can imagine how prosperous it was. "I am Yuanji's sister." "Who are you?" "Sister, sister." Wang Qing was stunned, as if she had accidentally offended her sister-in-law. She apologized to Xiaonan very sincerely, saluted, and put her posture very low. Xiaonan just snorted coldly and walked away. "Let's play with Sister Menghan." Wang Qing and Yu Menghan are also pursuing Yuanjie. In comparison, Yu Menghan is much better than her, which may be related to literacy. Yu Menghan is now with Yuanjie's 2 closest women, Li Tiansha and Xiaonan, and they have become best friends who talk about everything. As for Yuanjie, she didn't have much opportunity to touch. However, Xiaonan is Yuanjie's best friend, and although Yu Menghan feels that the relationship between the two is very chaotic, she inquired a lot about Yuanjie from Xiaonan's mouth, so that she can please this sister in the future. At 6 o'clock in the morning, the spirit beast arrived on time on the outskirts of Jianghu City. It is also strange to say, no matter where they go, the spirit beasts invade at 6 o'clock in the morning on time. It stands to reason that it should not be done, because the front has been extended. The illusion is that the spirit beast is teleported by a mysterious force. Seeing that Li Tiansha opened the 8 gates of Dunjia and rushed out, Wang Qing was not to be outdone. Her heart has long regarded the other party as a love rival, and naturally she is not willing to lose to her. Ice wall. Wang Qing sealed and condensed a huge ice wall in the mid-air of the spirit beast tide. This ice wall was several times larger than the one released in the secret forest. It's just that the person who attracted the spirit beast by the Vientiane heavenly attraction is gone. Wang Qing's thoughts accidentally returned to that day. She missed it. But what is the use of nostalgia? There will be no going back. Maybe in the future, there will be no chance to fight side by side with Brother Ji. Jin Chang desolate ancient academy. Yuanjie's momentum suddenly skyrocketed. The whole sky fell into gloom. I broke through. He suddenly opened his eyes, only to see that his right eye had changed. No longer red, but dark purple. A circle of ripples covers the entire eyeball, making people feel very strange at the first glance. Reincarnation I finally evolved. End of this chapter. Thank you so much for reading until the end. Don't forget to give it a like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription or donation encourages us to continue. Thank you all. See you in the next video.